Today's show is brought to you by Lovable. Here we go.
We're already at Game Week 12, means that there's only 2 Tuesdays remaining of the winter split. But let's get ready for another Title Tuesday.
Looks like Farouche is almost getting it done on the board. Should still be a draw. He's losing now suddenly.
He's throwing a thorn into the white side, holding on here for dear life. The nerves are kicking in.
He's playing with Ghost, afraid to commit.
Did he lose on time?
The clock is his worst enemy right now. Oh, look at this. He's trapped his own king in the corner. The black rook is hit as well.
Whoa, is this a blunder?
Checkmate is coming.
Welcome to the studio here in the Take offices. We are getting ready for Game Week 12. And with me in the studio, we've got Jon Christian. You're back here in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
And of course, as always, we have Grandmaster David Howell. You weren't here last week.
Yeah, I missed you guys. I don't think you missed me, but I can't wait to be back. My favorite day of the week.
And this weekend, David, you were busy as well doing freestyle chess commentary. Are you going to be ready for normal pieces, the normal starting position?
Yeah, normal castling is going to be difficult to get used to again, but I'm ready. I can't get enough chess, and I'm hopeful that this is going to be maybe a bit more dramatic. Magnus always wins freestyle. Let's see if he wins this week.
And Jon Christian, have you been playing any tournaments or any online chess maybe since last we had you here a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I actually did play 3 classical games in the Norwegian Elite Series. Ended up with 1 win and 2 losses, but actually gained rating nonetheless. So I was fairly happy.
Okay, well that sounds very good. And it's a very hectic life for the very top chess players, and they have to prioritize Title Tuesday. There are tournaments going on. There's the Freestyle Fridays. There's even Blitz tournaments on Thursdays now as well. So it's very, very hectic. But this weekend, there was a new World Championship title being awarded. And David, I know you were an expert since you followed the whole thing in the weekend.
Yeah, it was a bit of a wild ride. It was Magnus Carlsen winning his 21st world title. It wasn't always pretty. He wasn't quite at his dominant best, but he got the job done. In the final against Fabiano Caruana, he had some lost positions, actually survived 3 lost positions there, but he ended up winning, and the wait goes on. Poor Fabi. I think the whole world was hoping that at some point he would win a world title, still waiting for his first.
And what about you, Jon Christian? I mean, as Norwegians, we're kind of rooting for as many Norwegian World Championship titles in the world of chess. What did you think of the freestyle event?
No, it was really fun to follow. I think freestyle chess is a very interesting format. It's a bit tough for us newbies to follow it a little bit because, I mean, something that I really enjoy with looking at chess is what openings are they going to play, but now you just get whatever. So it's a bit tough to tackle, but all in all, I thought it was a great event. Good commentary, David.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. No, I'm really happy with Magnus winning freestyle the World Championship title, as he has lost twice before, but then in Fisher Random, I think they called it. So yeah,
they call this the first freestyle World Championship title, but we did have in 2019 and in 2022, we did have Wesley So and Hikaru Nakamura respectively winning those titles, but none of them were participating, David.
Yeah, I mean, this rebrand, it came with some politics. I mean, the fact that FIDE and Freestyle teamed up was already maybe a bit of a surprise. It felt a bit last minute, and I didn't really ever expect to see that reconciliation. But of course, disappointing that Wesley So, Hikaru Nakamura didn't make it. I'm not sure whether they weren't invited or whether they just weren't happy with the format. But yeah, either way, maybe next time. And yeah, there'll be plenty more chances for those two and others this year.
Yes, and they did now release their new qualification system for future World Championship titles. So hopefully that will bring some clarity into the world of chess. And a repeat of the World Championship match in 2018 was in the finals, Jon Christian. Were you also, even though we are Norwegians and we root for Magnus Carlsen and everything, did you kind of hope that Caruana would get his first World Championship title?
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, many people call him the best chess player who has ever been, who has not been a world champion in anything yet. So I think maybe, yeah, a little bit rooting for him as well. But in the end, yeah, Magnus with his luck and his stamina, he ends up on top, as he usually does.
So that was his 21st World Championship title. Congratulations to him. Let's take a look at who has signed up, if anyone has signed up so far. But it doesn't look like 9 minutes before we're starting, David. The players, they usually postpone signing up until like the very final moments.
Exactly. I'm not sure it's whether a chess player is just last minute by nature. I think we're all time optimists. Or whether they just want to keep their opponents guessing. You know, a bit of mind games like Hikaru, Magnus. I'll only sign up if you do, and then you kind of wait till the last 5 seconds. But we'll see. I'm expecting some big names since we are at the end of the split, and there's a lot to play for.
Absolutely, and we can take a look at the leaderboard of the Champions Chess Tour, which is very important for qualifying for the Esports World Cup. And these are the names that we've seen time and time and time again, and that we expect to see today. I mean, we have Magnus and Denis Lazovic and Alireza Firouzja, who've all qualified already. Magnus through being the reigning world champion, or not the reigning world champion, but the reigning esports champion. And we've got Denis Lazovic and Alireza Firouzja through the Speed Chess Championship, getting 3rd and 2nd place there, respectively. And then we have the top guys here on this leaderboard. Hikaru Nakamura has 154 points. Do you think he will prioritize playing a lot of Title Tuesdays, or is he kind of guaranteed a spot here, Jon Christian?
Well, I know that he has a small child back at home. He's doing a lot of stuff with his streaming career and content creation, and also being a top chess player. And he's playing in the candidate tournament, which is coming up now in March, I believe. So I don't know. Depending on the when I look at the points, I guess he doesn't need to play anything and still qualify. So hard to tell. But with these top guys, Magnus, Hikaru, I know they love playing chess, and I know they love speed chess, blitz in specifically. So I wouldn't be too surprised if he plays either way.
And but some of the other players there, David, there are many who really have a lot to fight for to try to get among the top spots to qualify.
Exactly. It feels like the field is open this year. We talk a lot about Magnus. We talk about Hikaru. The fact that Firouzja and Lazovic have already gone through automatically maybe is good news for some of the other players. I'm expecting the likes of Fabiano to play this time because he will be busy in the next split with the candidates, so trying to get as many points as possible. The likes of Hans Niemann, Jan Nepomuceno, they want to be at the Esports World Cup. It's a huge payday. There's a lot of prestige attached to it. And yeah, this is the easiest place to start. Once a week, put it in their calendars. I'm hoping they join us this time around as well.
And it's also very important to note that in addition to having the Speed Chess Championship, which we already had, which had 3 qualifying spots, there's also 3 spots coming from the Chess.com Global Championship. And that tournament also has its own way of qualifying. And you need to be among the top 8 players in this winter split to qualify for that one. And when we do take a look at this table, there are 2 weeks remaining. So I'm guessing that some of the players are very secure in their spots. We've got Magnus, we've got Duda, Sevian probably will be among the top 8, but after that, it could really be anyone's game, depending on how the rest of them show up in these final 2 weeks. And Hikaru here, David, he has 13 points in this split, but he's been participating quite a bit. do you think he'll prioritize he needs to try to win the tournament a couple more times?
Exactly. I mean, he's been playing most weeks, maybe with an exception of one or two due to other commitments, Speed Chess Championship. But he's been in kind of up and down form, I would say, losing some strange games that he would normally convert a bit slower than normal. Obviously, as you mentioned, Jon Christian, probably other priorities right now. But yeah, it's a strange world seeing Hikaru play online blitz and not perform at his best.
What do you think, Jon Christian? Do you think that the players now, do you think they are aware of the fact that this is how to qualify for the Chess.com Global Championship?
Good question. There's a lot to follow, and there's a lot of different tournaments, and it's a bit of an intricate point systems. I have to admit. So I would guess no, but. But yeah, who knows? I mean, a lot of chess players are really deep into details as well, and they know about pairing systems and tie-break rules and a lot of these very intricate stuff. So I wouldn't be too surprised either if some of them really knows what's up and what they want to play for.
And so there's a very packed chess calendar going ahead, and some of the players are more aware of the fact. Some players are better at planning their chess lives, so to say. And one of them is Maxime Vacher-Lagrave, who, on behalf of very many of the participants in the Grand Chess Tour, has kind of written a letter to the organizers of both the Grand Chess Tour and the Esports World Cup, saying that these events are overlapping and it's affecting the players. And we're not going to read Maxime's entire statement, but his main issue here is that these two events overlapping prevents himself, Fabiano, Alireza. We see many of the top players here, David. They are not happy with the fact of this clashing of dates.
Yeah, it's understandable. I think there's also some contractual things. Players have signed contracts a long time ago with the Grand Chess Tour, with the Esports World Cup. So either way, they'll kind of find themselves in this awkward situation, maybe having to kind of settle those contracts. And I mean, when I was an active player, I would probably have felt similar too. It feels like, okay, there's maybe 3 or 4 highlights in the calendar. And for 2 of the biggest ones to clash is really disappointing. But there's no easy solution. Everyone has different agendas, and I know that certain players are happy that maybe players outside the top 20 will get opportunities now.
And the Grand Chess Tour, they responded, one of the organizers, they responded that they announced their dates in October 2025. The EWC announced them in January. And Jon Christian, you've been a chess organizer. How easy is it to find a time for a tournament that doesn't overlap with something else that already exists?
Well, that being said, I haven't really organized any major top events like these two, but I know that the chess calendar is getting more and more packed, basically. There's a lot of different tournaments, a lot of world championship titles, and well, it's not easy to find a spot in the calendar that doesn't clash with anything at all. So I have some sympathy for the organizers, but then again, it's hard to say that they shouldn't have picked a different date. I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough world out there.
So it's going to be tough for some of these players, but we are very excited now to see who is going to be participating in this week's Title Tuesday.
Oh, that's a blunder. That's just a blunder. Discover check, picks up the queen.
And his opponent resigns. Well, he's making quick moves.
Just no time. You have to trade the rooks off. You got to gamble. Oh, he had to give the check first. Jan was supposed to check on h7 first. I think he just played the wrong move order. He just got confused.
And now he's down a rook. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a nice move though by Zhang. That's pinning the rook, harassing so many different points. 3 different things are under pressure right now. Even 4 if we count the pawn.
He just gave up.
He just couldn't find a move.
Different to hear this kind of review, David, without your voice. But we had Eric Hansen stepping in for you last week. And there were a lot of highlights where, in the end, Sindarov actually managed to clinch first place and a lot of points.
Exactly. It was dramatic. I actually went back. I wasn't able to watch live, but I went back and watched the broadcast. It was really fun. And it looked like Sindarov, multiple occasions, should have been out of it. He hung a rook at some point. He was lost in several games. But that's how it works. The younger players, they love this format. Always causes a few surprises.
All right. Well, we are getting ready for the final moments until we are starting game week 12. 2 weeks remaining. It's incredibly important to get these points to qualify for the champions, for the global Chess.com Global Championship. And if you don't qualify among these top 8 spots, you can also qualify through playing qualifiers through the month of March. But we do see that Hikaru Nakamura, he has signed up. He's not among the top 8 right now, so this could be his opportunity. But then we notice, Jon Christian, Magnus has signed up as well.
We have Magnus here. Very good to see. I hope he will deliver today.
But his chair is empty.
He's levitating. He's the invisible man, Magnus Carlsen. He's not here in the studio with us. He is playing from home, we can confirm. So we'll hopefully get a picture of him shortly. In the meantime, 1e4, a Sicilian defense. And will Magnus bring his bishop out? That tends to be his solution in this position with white.
Yeah, so apparently he makes 2 moves and then he just leaves his chair to probably find a vase or something to rehydrate, I suppose.
Exactly, or change the nappy, change the diapers of his son. G6 played. Yeah, Magnus, I'm always impressed. He's, a busy man. He travels. He just traveled back from the Freestyle World Championship only yesterday, arriving back this morning. So the fact that he is playing, diving right back in, and maybe he's just spending this minute trying to remember how the pieces normally move. It's not freestyle anymore.
Yeah, I'm wondering how easy it is to make a switch back and forth between playing freestyle chess and now back to the kind of, not boring, but the very standard normal starting position. And with these castling rules, could it possibly affect him negatively?
It could. He remembered how to castle in this game, although it took him another 20 seconds to push a pawn.
Spending a lot of time in the beginning here, but maybe, as we were mentioning, a lot of players kind of joining in the final moments before the tournament starts. So you kind of have to gather your things and get into the mindset of playing 11 rounds of 5-minute chess with no increment. So that's a tough ask.
Yeah, we mentioned it before. This is a brutal time control. You have to play fairly quickly. Time is a major factor in this format. You have to play fast. So Magnus spending so much time in the opening, it's not an advantage at all. But then again, it's the first round, and he should be facing a much weaker opponent. But I remember very vividly that he had some big problems in his first game.
Yeah.
He was here 3 weeks ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm. That was crazy. He managed to be checkmated by not even a really one of the normal FIDE titles, but a national master, in fact. So that was not the best start for Magnus.
Yeah, it was funny because the week after that, he also nearly got checkmated again in one of the early rounds against a lower-rated opponent. Wow, Zaras, is he getting some help there with the camera? Looks that way. He's also been spending a lot of time on the clock, even though these are very standard moves. White has given up the bishop for the knight. Black has doubled pawns. Normally you would defend that pawn with another pawn, or maybe even drop the black knight back. And there we go. He actually opens up a hit on this bishop, and Magnus's sleeve appears.
He's also fixing some things. I think he might be adjusting some cameras. When you're playing in Title Tuesday, you need to have an external camera that's filming you. And usually for many players, that's their phone, and the phone needs to be balanced in a good way. And looks like both players have kind of done some last-minute efforts to get ready for this tournament.
It feels like they've made a pre-game arrangement to just play 3-minute blitz.
Yeah.
Who needs 5 minutes on the clock? Magnus is going to put his bishop on this square. There we go. To trade off the dark squared bishops, get rid of the black's bishop pair. And this is going to become a maneuvering game. But yeah, very strange to see them spend so much time in the opening. And it's going to be a bit random if the clocks tick down even lower before the action really begins.
Yeah, I can still see Magnus. He's fixing something. There is lights flashing in his face.
Better to do it in round 1 than never, but also could have been done maybe a few minutes before round 1.
He's also used to playing here in the studio where things have been set up for him by somebody else. So a little bit of extra stress there, but it's good that he's getting it in order so early on in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see that Magnus's mustache is still alive, alive and well. I feel like it's been improving quite a lot these last...
He's leaning into it.
Yes.
It was headlines on the Norwegian media with this new mustache. I mean, usually there isn't that much written about chess, like for these weekly tournaments and such, but for Magnus's mustache, that was the headline on several Norwegian media outlets this week.
Yeah, I remember you used to sport a nice mustache, Jan Christian.
Yeah,
back in the day.
That's only in November.
Only in November.
Yeah.
Magnus started a few months too early.
Quite a few months. Oh, be careful. That was the knight fork. Okay, I like Magnus's position though. He has seems like he has control of the position. He has these breaks with f5, trying to attack the black king, which is a bit airy. Well,
he can play on both flanks here, Magnus.
Yes.
He can push with the f-pawn, but there we go. He also reminds black that there's a backward pawn on the b file. I really don't like that bishop for knight exchange. Feels like the double pawns here actually only help white. They control squares and big pressure. Magnus pushes with e5 and this is classic Magnus. He puts his queen on this square, meaning that black cannot break with b5. As the a pawn would be hanging, he's going to put his queen in the center. He's going to double up the rooks. And it's going to be slow torture.
Yeah, maybe he can even go f5 now if he gets the time. Just okay, not anymore. But
maybe later.
Yeah, maybe later.
Okay, and I'm expecting this move just to stop the black queen coming in. Just to prepare doubling up the white rooks as well. Oh, wow, he actually goes the other way.
Cool.
This is more up your alley,
Yeah,
Christian.
now you go queen f6 and you go h4, h5.
And checkmate.
Yeah.
We'll see if that plan comes to fruition. Okay, b5 though. Black is getting counterplay.
Yep.
So it's not one-sided traffic anymore.
And they're both getting lower and lower on time. I feel like they're not really in the rhythm of 5-minute, no increment chess. Once you've spent a second, you're never getting it back.
Oh.
But he's going for your kind of a similar plan to yours, Jon Christian.
Okay, this was not on my radar though. He wants to just, if he takes on e5, then he wants to play f6 and queen h6, but maybe then there's queen e3. I don't know what's going on here, but things are getting really complicated, it seems like.
Yeah, and what happens if this pawn is captured? Magnus is a pawn down right now. He's sacrificed a pawn. He can play, for example, rook takes pawn, but that just leads to what looks like a draw. The king has to go back. And wow, he's going for a queen exchange, but apparently a mistake. Now black is slightly better.
Ah.
Interesting.
What is Magnus doing?
And he's still not really focused on the game.
Oh, big moment. Black is currently 2 pawns up. But there we go. Magnus has a very, very strong pass pawn long term. It's a mistake, though. What is Magnus doing?
Is he taking this a bit too lightly, perhaps?
It looks that way. Rook b4 is a really clever move.
Yeah, it is.
Plugging the b file. Without that, maybe it would have turned. But now white can never really dream of taking this rook. And now the black king is going to come and cover all the squares. Magnus's eyes tell the whole story.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He's in big trouble. The black rook can also come back and start picking off pawns later.
Have we ever seen Magnus quit the tournament after a bad start?
Oof. We've seen him quit it later on. After one round, it's rare to see him even lose round 1. But it looks like lightning might strike a second time. Okay, 2 pawns down again. Oh, rook trade. He loves these doubled pawns, but apparently this is a mistake again. He's got to watch out. Rook to a8 would just push this pawn forward. Magnus has to stop that. Holds his pawn.
And time is ticking as well.
Yeah.
This is going to be a scramble for sure.
Magnus is fighting for his life, though. Oh, maybe not sure about that exchange, but still 4 versus 2 on the king side.
Yeah.
If black can activate his king somehow, bring it round. Start pushing his pawns. Oof, it's going to be a time scramble.
Oh, and they're both down to 40 seconds.
Yeah, not perfect play, but no risk for Zaras on the board. Can make a draw if he wants to. There we go. If he gets rid of this pawn. But can he hope for more than a draw?
Magnus still under some pressure, but maybe this is just easy hold ball, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that Magnus tries to go for the flag and try to win his first game here?
Maybe. I think Zaras wants to get everything off the board. There we go. Rook takes, and now it's a dead drawn endgame.
Are there any tricks?
No tricks.
Not really, no.
And no time for Magnus. This is going to be a draw. Wow, what a shock.
That's very surprising.
Poor start.
There we go. Magnus draws against a young player from Kazakhstan, just 14 years old. Well, actually,
Wow.
just 13 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
This is a really good commercial for young up-and-coming players to play in the Title Tuesday tournaments. We've seen it so many weeks in a row now against very young players that would never usually have the opportunity to play against Magnus in other situations. They are able to face him and even take him down in some instances. So a great start for his opponent there, and a great start for Hikaru, who's won his game. We see Faustino Oro, he's won his first game. Wesley So has won. So a lot of the other favorites, they delivered, Jon Christian.
Yeah, but I see an upset actually. Serrana seems to have lost his first game. So, I mean, upsets can happen, and they do happen in this tournament and this format especially. So, yeah, Magnus also big upset, we have to say.
Absolutely. I've rarely seen him draw the first game. Like, one thing is you miss a mate in two, as happened to him a couple of weeks ago. You might run out on time, but to just draw the position on purpose.
Yeah, and especially from that type of position, he was struggling on the board. He was quite fortunate to make a draw. I think his young opponent just wanted to play it super safe, understandably. But yeah, it could have been even worse for Magnus. Not a great start. Good news for all of his rivals, though.
Absolutely. A very good news for Hikaru Nakamura, who really needs some points in this week to be able to be among the top 8 and qualify for the Chess.com Global Championship. But that's also true for Faustino Oro. He could also have an opportunity to get a lot of points this week, and he's playing against a Greek FIDE master here.
Yeah, early start, but it's a Queen's Gambit declined with an early pawn exchange in the center. It's now the Carlsbad pawn structure. This is one that Magnus and other players really love with both colors. Tends to lead to slower games, a lot of maneuvering. Faustino drops his knight back. This is really trendy stuff. He's going to park his knight on this square where it's really, really flexible, covers the queen side and the king side. And yeah, Faustino, I was watching his first game. He actually won on time in a losing position.
Ooh.
So yeah, a bit sneaky, but that happens. That's the format.
But I also feel like that can be very good to kind of just narrowly win the first game, because it kind of wakes you up and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm playing against titled players for another 10 rounds in a very intense time format. So it can be nice when it ends up with a happy ending in that case. Then I feel like it can almost be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, helps you to lock in. And in the meantime, White has installed a very strong knight in the center. It's going to be hard to kick that piece away. Might be supported later by a white pawn. But Faustino just wants to get the bishops off in the meantime.
Yeah, that's a good move. G6, preparing bishop f5. The Messi of chess is what's it's called, right?
Exactly.
He was here, right?
Yeah, he was in the Take studio and was streaming from the other room, and he got to play against Magnus. You got to play against him, David.
I did.
You were pretty starstruck.
I was quite starstruck. I heard we were all going down to the Good Night Chess pub afterwards. I kind of ran there, and Faustino wasn't there. I was gutted. I was hoping to play him in some blitz, but I hung around. He did turn up with his dad, and we did play 3 games. I won't boast about the result, but I think that was probably the last time I'll ever beat Faustino. He's looking sharp these days. His rating on Chess.com, 3262, is just incredible.
That's an insane rating. What do you have, David?
I'm around 3,000. I think I got 3,000 exactly, and I stopped because I was scared of losing.
I see.
Losing the rating.
And I guess a lot of people have their eyes on Faustino these days because he could become the youngest grandmaster ever. Depends on some results. I think he has another month to do it, and he's playing some classical tournaments coming up now. So a lot of pressure on him, but good to see that he's still taking the time to play Title Tuesdays.
Exactly. And in the meantime, on the board, some developments. some tactics. The white D pawn, if it wants to capture, would drop the knight in the center, although that is also quite interesting. There's normally a few ways to react to this minority attack, where white's 2 pawns kind of push and try to create an isolated pawn. One of them is to break like this, one of them is to just capture. But looks quite nice for black.
Yeah, but he might end up with an isolated D pawn as well, which I'm not sure if black is too happy with. If you just take everything off and then, I don't know, like go 92 in the end or something.
Yeah. I think everything you say there is going to happen. I don't think white should ever really allow black to take and kind of equal up the isolated pawns. Black gets the open file, white's a bit loose.
I see that the engine likes black's position, but I'm not sure exactly how or why.
It's just a very small advantage for Faustino. Impatient for his opponent to move there.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe it's this move.
Ah, that's a clever in-between move.
Yeah, very clever, very tactical. Hitting the knight, still some pressure, has to be defended. And why would he not defend the knight with his other rook? That's a very strange decision and apparently a blunder. How to take advantage?
Yeah, how?
Oof. I think there might be some tactics here. I think it might be starting, there we go, a threat of checkmate, and now another sacrifice maybe to take this pawn. After the black queen recaptures on that square, it would come with a check and the white bishop would fall.
You can see that Faustino is calculating right now.
Oh, yes.
Look behind his ear as well, double exclamation mark. He's tempting fate, calculating.
He's like, should I go for it?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, he could also trade off bishops and then bring his queen across maybe to hit this pawn. But
I heard the other day that Hikaru was saying that him and Magnus are the most expressive players in chess, and that's part of their success. But when I see Faustino sometimes, I'm thinking, I can see the future here. He is also constantly reacting to every position in such a clear way that makes it so fun to look at somebody who's even just kind of sitting and thinking.
yeah, and rare from someone so young. There we go. Knight takes pawn. It's a temporary sacrifice. He's now going to win the bishop, and he's currently a pawn up with black. The white knight, though, still hit. This is a great tactic.
Yeah.
Very effective.
So if rook d1, what happens?
This one.
Yeah.
Maybe rook takes knight.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything falls like dominoes. Everything falls with check. Yeah,
Okay, white is in big trouble.
huge trouble.
Big trouble.
It's crazy that everything worked so perfectly for black there. Like everything connects everything. Like even at the end of the variation, white cannot even move the rook. What to do? Maybe he has to move his knight back.
I also love how much Faustino is moving around. He's like leaning forward, then he's sitting back, and he has this like tracking camera. Okay, now he's like, it's time to chill.
He's done the hard work. He's won a pawn. He's winning more.
Hefty microphone as well. What's going on here? Is he streaming also? Do you know?
Yeah.
He often does, and he's very. I feel like Hikaru has been like some source of inspiration for him. That he's like going into streaming and entertainment and kind of professional video quality from a very early stage in his chess career, and it's working out really well for him.
Yeah. I think all the best players have this sense of like showmanship around them. They're performers. They don't just want to play good moves. They want to do it in style. And,
Even though I don't know if he realizes the current camera angle right now.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the chess. Knight back to e2. The knight's going to get one good square at least. The problem is that the black bishop's also going to be on a very, very good diagonal, either here or keeping the white king caged on h3. Another pawn could drop in the near future. I think most practical might be to start trying to round up this pawn just in case. You don't want to leave it alive too long. The black queen can sometimes go across and go back, take it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like white is spoiled for choice, but yeah, he needs to be a bit careful about this d6 pawn. But he's probably gonna pick it up now.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't wait too long. He can pick it up, and knight takes bishop. Black can offer a queen exchange. There we go. And ooh, apparently a small mistake there, but missed opportunity. I wonder what that was. Okay, he's still 2 pawns up though. Faustino still a big, big favorite to win this game.
Bit of an ugly pawn structure though, with these double isolated f pawns. but he probably has everything under control. White's king is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, lots of checks, nowhere really to hide, and if black can get the queens off, it should be winning as well, pushing the d pawn forward. Okay, he's asking questions though. The rook is hit.
Yeah. Can the king... Okay, so if the rook moves away to, let's say, e6, and there's a check on f8, can the king... Black king run away, or can it not? Maybe it's too risky.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to risk it. He might give some checks. And there we go, and put his queen back in the center. Just hold everything. There we go.
To answer the question we've gotten from a viewer at the top here, how much time does Faustino have to get his third Grandmaster norm for beating the world record? I believe it's the 7th of March that he has to do it. So that's in a little bit more, less than a month. I know because my birthday is the 5th of March, and I was like, that's what I want for my birthday.
Nice. Everyone send your birthday wishes to Maud. It's coming. How are you going to celebrate?
I'm organizing a chess tournament where I'm going to team up my non-chess friends with chess friends, and then they're going to make every other move and be annoyed at each other for either being too disinterested or too interested in the chess.
Nice. Perfect way to celebrate. And in the meantime, we saw the bar go all black. That means there must have been a checkmating attack. Maybe it started with the queen check and the pawn push. But he's still totally winning here, Faustino, if he can find the right sequence.
Well, White is fighting, though. He has doubled up on the 8th rank, and it's not trivial, this attack either. Oh, but Faustino is playing with precision.
Oh, but there's no checks. No checks on the white king. He centralizes again. He's banking on the fact that his king is hiding out in the open. There we go. No more checks for the white queen. That's very professional. And this is going to end the game. Oh, he even takes away a square the white king wanted to run away to.
Very professional indeed.
And
now
now
f2, and this is resignable.
New queen appearing. There we go. Faustino gets win number 2. What a game. Very, very convincing, actually.
Yeah, very convincing.
Yeah, started with some sacrifices and got the job done. Here we go. Denis Lazovic also takes a win. He was about to be a piece up in the final position. Wins on time, though. His opponent looks devastated.
Oh, and Lazovic looks like this was an expected result for him.
He looks like he always does.
Yes.
Just another day at the office.
And Lazovic recently proving himself really good in the online blitz world by beating Hikaru Nakamura in the bronze finals of the Speed Chess Championship and securing his spot in the EWC.
Yeah, potentially life-changing. The EWC, last year at least, even the lowest placed finishers got $50,000. So for someone like Lazovic, who doesn't get the opportunity to play much, doesn't travel much, doesn't have a coach, yeah, could be a life-changer.
And we'll see then if Hikaru also manages to qualify for the Esports World Cup, because he hasn't done so directly just yet, but he has won both of his games so far in this Title Tuesday. And here we see Magnus, who won his previous round, apparently, and needs to kind of work himself up to get back to the top of the leaderboard here.
Yeah, let's see if he can play more convincingly this time around. At least he won his previous game. Now he's playing a Goku, I think. Something like this. Anime character.
Yeah. I trust you more than me on that topic. His young opponent probably knows better than both of us.
Playing an 11-year-old Turkish player here.
Ooh.
With 2 out of 2?
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
Turkey nowadays. I mean, India have kind of taken up the mantle of a world superpower. Uzbekistan, super strong. Turkey is coming. They have Erdomush, they have Ediz Gorel, some really strong young grandmasters, and maybe another one in the making. Magnus playing an exchange French by transposition. And, okay, he's got a very strong knight. If given 2 more moves, he would love to push his pawn forward and trap this bishop. A bit awkward to get rid of this piece. Big advantage already for white. Very aggressive.
Yeah, I love this this approach from Magnus. It's such a nice position to have early on, and seems like black is struggling to find ways to find counterplay. How do you even how do you even answer this 4 move? You have to do something really awkward here.
Yeah, maybe you have to exchange knights and then bring your bishop into the center and then like run away. But it takes so long. White's got so much space. There we go. Yeah, I mean, this is just the most beautiful knight teamed up with a just incredible bishop.
Yeah, even like if bishop d5 in the center, maybe then c4. Yeah, and then d5, you grab even more space, go bishop b2, get a new beautiful bishop. Oh, this is looking like one-way traffic.
Oh, that bishop has done so much work. It's moved so many times, but it's back home.
Yeah.
And, I mean, where's this black knight going? It's also retreating. Black just has no space.
Oof.
This is a beautiful position for white.
Yeah, it's a really sad position for black. Okay, so there is some tactics.
Yeah, I think white could probably have taken this bishop and pushed forward with the c5. The black knight would have been
Yeah,
stuck.
and then take on f7. And
Yeah,
also
that would have been tricks.
everything works though. I mean, with such a beautiful position as Magnus has, he doesn't really need to do much, just do not blunder. So, yeah, black has no activity.
Oh, this is tough. Again, the black bishop can barely move. The queen gets out at least, but Magnus can defend everything with his rook.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the surprise, though, for this young Turkish player to just suddenly, in the third round of the tournament, be like, oh, the best player in the world?
Yeah, the young ones, they love a challenge these days. I mean, what an honor it is to play the top player in the world at any age, let alone at the age of 11. He'll learn a lot.
Now f6 is coming.
Yeah.
f6, queen g5, queen h4. Not queen h6, I mean.
And some checkmate ideas.
Yeah.
You can start now. Magnus sets up a queen sacrifice. He wants to take this pawn. Check.
Oh, nice.
And then mate on the back rank. Hard to stop. Very hard to stop.
Very hard to stop.
Oh,
Oh, he
covers
stops it.
He covers the square, but
Yeah.
Magnus pushes through. My favorite pawn structure in chess. 4 pawns in a row.
The connect 4.
Connect 4, exactly. Super strong. And I mean, that e-pawn is going to decide the game. Not much to do.
No. Quick game.
Yeah. No counterplay for black. Just opening mishap.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, this is actually just resignable, I think.
Yeah, there's going to be so many back rank tactics. Black has to try putting his king in the corner. We'll see how Magnus tries to finish it off. These pawns are like a Roman spear formation, exactly. And there we go. Rook takes rook would be met by not a capture, but a promotion on e8.
Yeah. Now it's threatening both the rook, but also queen g8.
That would be a nice way to finish the game.
Yeah.
A good way to put Magnus in a good mood going into the rest of the tournament.
And there we go.
Take a rook.
Checkmate does end the game. Magnus gets a second win in a row, climbing up the leaderboard.
Yeah, very convincing victory for Magnus in this game against, did you say 13-year-old?
11-year-old.
11-year-old.
Yeah.
Wow.
13-year-olds was round 1. They're getting younger. They're getting
Is he
younger.
an FM or do you know?
Candidate master, yeah.
Candidate master,
From
okay.
Turkey.
Yeah.
So very impressive. But let's look at another young talent, another 11-year-old, which is just insane. Faustino Oro here playing with the white pieces against Luca Moroni. Very established grandmaster. And what do you make of this, Jon Christian?
Oof, I need to adjust to this position. I see that the engine says that Faustino is completely winning, but why exactly? He's not up on material. There has to be some sort of tactic in the air.
Apparently there was only one winning move in that position, and not an easy one. White's best move was to bring the queen forward. It would have hit a knight, hit a pawn. He would have won material. But now it's back to the balance. Both sides have weak pawns. Maybe black's king slightly weaker. But no way through for white anymore. He missed his shot.
Well, the position is really unbalanced still, with a lot of play. So I would not expect this to be a draw by no means. Yeah, he's asking some good questions though with this queen g5 move.
Yeah, great move. How does the black rook save itself? Does it have to step back? He could kind of hit the queen maybe.
Oh,
although
maybe
don't
a
want to play
bit too fancy. You can take both rooks then.
both rooks, exactly. White could take this rook and then take the other rook. But yeah, not easy.
Spending quite a bit of time right now, Moroni, with 1.5 minutes left on the clock. It's going to be an intense duel in the final seconds here if he doesn't make his move soon.
Yeah, it's very psychologically difficult to move pieces backwards. I found this myself when I play chess. So play like rook h7 just to guard a pawn.
Oh, yeah.
When the rook is in such a good spot already.
You can also envision your coach telling you later, why would you play your rook there? It's so passive.
Yeah.
It's in a terrible position. But it was a complete necessity.
What is happening now? Can black take some pawns?
He's trying to take this pawn first.
Yeah.
If he had taken the other, then there might have been some tricks with the white queen stepping back on the diagonal.
Right.
Rook to f1, shake of the head from Faustino. He's missed this move. Wins black a pawn.
Now black is doing very well.
Yeah, suddenly. If he'd managed to just even eliminate the whole of the kingside, all the pawns without dropping anything, it's so much easier to play with white with a strong knight, especially if he kind of plants it in front of black's pawn versus a bad bishop, safe king as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is when you don't have luft for your king. It's always a bit tricky. So he makes luft now, but then he loses some time, and now black gets a better endgame. He has the bishop as well. So difficult for Faustino now.
Yeah, I think he knew there objectively that trading off the queens and trying to go for some weak black pawns was probably the best way to guiding it towards a draw, but he wants more, Faustino.
Well, he's up on time, though. I mean, this is, as I mentioned earlier, such a big factor. So if he can just keep the game going, now he finds a nice spot, a nice square for its knight on d3, blocking the pawn. Just keep the game going, not trade anything off. Just yeah, exactly. Try and make moves. Do not blunder. Keep the status quo. Then you win on time in the end.
Exactly. I think he's actually a favorite to win this one, Faustino, just because how's black ever going to end this game in the next 30 seconds? Like, white's king is so safe.
Yes.
Like, black just has to somehow get the queens off, somehow get the rooks off, and hope that the game fizzles out. But Faustino can play on and on and on forever.
So do you want to trade now, or is it too... Yeah.
Trading is
so
safe.
we just trade it off.
It does get it closer to getting a result in this game, though.
Yeah. So we say that when you have a bishop in the endgame, you want pawns on both sides of the board, whereas if you have the knight, you want only pawns on one side, and this should favor Faustino in this particular position.
Oh, is there a threat of checkmate? No.
He wanted the checkmate. Whoops, my arrows.
Check.
It's just one check. Is he going to go behind, try to land the checkmate? Black's king is
He's
going to
spending some time now. He's trying to find something.
Oh, he's made it a bit easier for Moroni here, but still not straightforward, still not an immediate draw. King takes pawn, black can at least break the pin, brings back his rook.
C4.
And Faustino spent quite a lot of time reaching this position.
Oh, he's a pawn up though, he's got an advantage on the board. Shouldn't be risking it. 19 against 8. Should be enough.
He has to keep the game alive.
Even the rook's off is maybe a good attempt to flag the opponent.
It is.
Especially because black only has bishop of one square and it's a fork to end the game.
Wow.
Oh, Faustino's celebrating. Oh, Moroni, that's such a heartbreaking loss, but it was headed in that direction anyway.
Yeah, he spent too much time in the middle game there, which is such an important part of the Title Tuesday format. When you don't get any extra time, no increment, then the final seconds are incredibly important. And we see here Faustino going through the game, probably clicking his way through, looking at the computer's evaluation. But job well done to the 11-year-old, who now has a perfect score with 3 out of 3 points. And we also saw this update that Sindarov, he's actually already lost one of his rounds, which is quite surprising. He was undefeated last week. He's won several Title Tuesdays in this split. He's really on fire these days. So for this candidate master to take him down, that's very surprising.
Yeah, very surprising, but it just again shows how strong this field is. We have 5 of the 8 candidates playing this week in Title Tuesday. They're using our tournament as a warm-up. That's nice. Nice to see.
And we see Erik Hansen on 3 out of 3 as well. Let's
go.
Let's go. Let's see if our last week's commentator can conjure up something against Wesley So.
Yeah, that's my theory, that commentary makes you better as a player. So let's see if Erik can back it up. Wow, we have a center game, a really rare guest at the top level of chess nowadays. This has always had a dodgy reputation for white. I think you only really play it in blitz against a fellow grandmaster. The black bishop comes out now. The black king castles, and white's going to castle the other way.
Yeah, creates a really unbalanced position, which favors, well, either side winning, I suppose. But it's a tricky opening. You should know your stuff to play this, indeed. And yeah, I have struggled quite a bit myself against this opening.
Yeah.
Wesley So hasn't been playing too many Title Tuesdays, so the reason why he's doing well on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard is that he made it to the quarterfinals of the Speed Chess Championship. He's only gotten a single point this split from Title Tuesday, so I feel like he's expecting more of himself. He needs to start racking up some points to qualify for the Global Chess.com Championship and to actually get his name up there. So important that he's also starting to play. I also saw that he was announced to play the Norway Chess Tournament here in Oslo in June. So that's going to be fun to see him back at top level chess.
He's had a bit of a dip recently,
Yeah.
Wesley. So he was always in the finals of these tournaments, always neck and neck with Magnus, always pushing the very best to the limit. But it feels like, lately, just not quite as consistent as he used to be. In the meantime, pawn storms for both players. The G-pawn going, the A-pawn going. It feels like white may be slightly quicker, but big moment for Eric. Does he put his knight on the edge of the board, block things up, but risk having a bad piece? Maybe that was best. Going back feels like it gives white an extra tempo. There we go. The attack blocked, and the H-pawn soon going to make an entrance.
Yeah. There's also like bishop c4, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely on the cards.
So you need to have some sort of attack in such positions because, I mean, both players are just trying to open up files for their rooks against their opponent's king. But it seems that everything stopped on the queen side now. But white is marching on, and
Wesley playing really fast as well.
okay, Eric sacrificing a pawn, trying to create some sort of attack or open files at least.
Would you guys take that pawn?
Yes.
I would be reluctant to, but but if you don't, then b4
Yeah.
either way will break up the white king. So
Yeah, Jon Christian and I, we play chess in very different ways. I take pawns, you give pawns. You go for checkmate, which is always a fun way to play. And actually, I think it was a good practical decision from Eric. As you said, the open b file now gives counterplay if the white bishop ever steps out the way. And this pawn will hang.
you get some leeway in blitz as well. I mean, you can take much more risk in blitz than you can in classical, for example, because the opponent doesn't have time to find the precise way to counter.
That's true.
And also, it's such a huge advantage to have some kind of plan, some kind of like idea of, oh, I'm going to make these moves in the next upcoming moves, because you have so little time. So just having any kind of plan, any way forward is a huge advantage.
Oh,
Whoa! Sacrifice from Eric Hansen. It's a
Wow.
fantastic move. He gives up the exchange just to blow open the b file. Exchange and a pawn down. So giving up a rook for bishop there.
And it seems to be correct as well.
Yeah. And if the other knight...
Bishop c4 now, yeah.
Wow, it's true. Oh no, it's a blunder, but that knight looks trapped. That's the most natural move.
Okay, maybe it's just mated.
Oh,
Wow.
Wesley just ignoring everything that's going on and the chaos on the left side of the board.
Eric went the wrong way to try and attack that knight. I think he needed to use that square for his own knight.
Right.
Yeah, suddenly it's just checkmate if he moves his pawn forward, the kiss of death.
So if he just lets everything be, if he takes the knight, then white takes on g7, I suppose.
And there are tactics in the air there, like
Yeah.
rook takes h7 ideas.
Exactly.
White queen can come across.
Yeah. White still has two rooks, so you can sacrifice the one and still, yeah,
Mate with the other.
exactly.
Oh dear, that's so typical of these types of positions. Just one move, either direction, and it all falls apart. Still not obvious though. Okay, Eric drops his knight back. There we go. The white queen now sits on the h file. That is the real killer.
Okay, so knight f8, there is no mate.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, I think it was it Larsen who said that? Bent Larsen, knight on f8. Looks like a good way to defend a pawn. But White's still up material for now.
And up so much on time as well, which is becoming a factor.
Yes, but there is a knight hanging on b5, so...
True.
And that knight is not gonna go away anytime soon. So if you can delay the mate or stop the mate rather, then the time is gonna be the factor in this as well.
Yeah, it has been for Eric multiple times lately. He's played a few Title Tuesdays and always seems to be a bit low on the clock. There we go. Queen takes pawn. He's going to try that knight f8 idea.
Yeah, it's the only way.
But now all White needs is something on this diagonal. Maybe a bishop. Or maybe a pawn.
Maybe knight d5.
Knight d5.
Go to the center and open up the diagonal for the bishop.
Looks good. Black will have to take that knight and hope to put something on that diagonal. Plug the dark squares.
Yeah, maybe that works.
Not easy though.
How do we continue though with White here? Oh.
Ooh. Bar drops, but he does get his knight out the way. He's going for this checkmate.
Okay, so queen takes b5. Okay.
Ooh. Good move.
Good move indeed.
Kicking away the queen first.
How much do you guys think Wesley is looking at his opponent's clock right now and kind of thinking,
Quite a bit.
I don't need to necessarily checkmate him immediately if I can just survive for a bit?
I've played Wesley many times in Classical, and even in Classical, he's always looking at my clock.
Yeah.
And here, Eric, maybe there was a chance. Maybe he should have taken that back with a pawn. But he's in big trouble, Eric Hansen.
Okay, so plug with 95 only.
But Eric does have 40 seconds, and he does have a lot of pieces heading kind of towards Wesley's king. So I wouldn't feel totally comfortable if I was Wesley. And he is, for the first time in a little while now, spending some time.
He's fighting really well, fighting hard, Eric Hansen. The black queen stops White's pawn avalanche there. How to continue the attack? He offers a queen exchange. That's classic Wesley. So loves to transform any attacks into long-term advantages.
Yeah, and makes Eric spend a lot of time as well. He has so little time, he cannot spend 12 seconds on a position like this.
Yeah, and that black queen looks almost trapped. Only a couple of squares to hide, to run away to. Feels like there's some sacrifices here as well, like with one rook replacing the other. Not sure they work. He attacks the bishop first. That's a nice way to ensure the white king doesn't get mated on the back rank.
Yeah, no need to do anything too drastic here for Wesley. He just needs to keep the game going until Eric loses some time.
Oh, and Sina Movahed, he's doing very well.
Speaking of not doing anything too drastic, there it goes.
Yeah, that's going to be a checkmating attack. If the black knight moves, there's checkmate in the corner. And now there's going to be a... Oh, wait, I was going to say... I was looking at this variation earlier, but the black bishop is covering a check. And Eric runs out of time, or no, resigns.
Resigns,
That's a beautiful second rook sacrifice. Wow, that was really, really impressive from Wesley. So
Yeah.
We can't really say the same about Magnus's position right here as we jump into his final minute of a game here against a strong Polish grandmaster, of course, but Magnus.
Ooh,
Magnus is just completely lost.
That
There's
queen
nothing
exchange.
here.
It's over.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Bishop c3, no.
Wow. I can rarely remember seeing Magnus start a title Tuesday with 2.5 points out of 4. And really not having a good day. Magnus, he's been very busy, played a world championship this weekend, he got his 21st world championship title, but even then struggling against other players here in Title Tuesday. And we can see that Arjun and Fabiano Caruana and Wesley So, several of Magnus's main competitors, they're on a perfect 4 out of 4, and now he's trailing by 1.5 points.
Yeah, he pretty much needs to win all of them now. 9.5 is normally the magic number. You need at least 9.5 to get a tie for first. Even then, his tie breaks are going to be pretty bad after this start. So Magnus might be out of the race for first. Maybe he'll come back and play spoiler later. Yeah, it looks like some surprises, but not too many.
That could be a good opportunity for these players who really need the points in the Champions Chess Tour table, because the top 8 after the winter split, they qualify for this Chess.com Global Championship. And Magnus, he's already qualified to play that, of course. But for the likes of Wesley So, I saw that Sina Movahed, he also has a perfect 4 out of 4. I think he was in about like 11th place. So with a couple of points today, that could make a huge difference for him.
I spotted a Norwegian flag, though. I see Arian Tari is on 3.5 points so far. Very interesting.
Very good for him.
He hasn't done so well in these Title Tuesdays earlier, has he?
No, he's. I would say he plays less than half of them, but even the ones he does play, he tends to end up around the 7.5, 8 mark, which is good, but not quite at the very, very top level. Let's see if he can go even further. And
we're getting some comments that Magnus needs to lock in, but how difficult is it, David, when you're off to a poor start? How tempted is Magnus to just leave the tournament?
Oh, I've done it before. I must admit, if I lose early, I'm just like, oh.
A lot of players do that in Title Tuesday. That's something that people will do, and we're waiting for the final games to finish here, because this is the 4th round, meaning that the players do get a very short break, but it kind of sucks for Magnus to go into a break with that kind of a loss.
Oh yeah, so very, very demotivating to play like that so early on. It also shows that the quality of your play is probably not so good.
Hikaru, in the meantime, losing as well, with the white pieces getting checkmated. And it feels like, okay, early days. We shouldn't write them off, these top dogs, but this might be the week of a younger player. Faustino, maybe it's his time to shine and rise.
And a lot of good younger players that are doing well with a perfect 4 out of 4. The player's going to have a short break now, and we're going to sum up the action so far.
Here we go.
All right, so that was the 4th round, and there are several of the favorite names, the names that we expect to see at the top, that are missing. I mean, we've got the likes of Hikaru, who's really been struggling these past couple of weeks, or should we say months, David?
Exactly. I mean, he's got the candidates on the horizon. Very surprising, though, to see the lack of consistency. Normally, that's his middle name. We're missing Magnus, of course, from that list. We're missing several others. But I'm especially happy to see Arjun Erigaisi there. He's had a really tough few months. Nice to see him making the push. Esipenko, who's in the candidates as well, showing he's in good form. And Fabiano Caruana, who I think my heart broke a bit for him just a few days ago.
Yeah.
He's like the nicest guy in the world as well. He's due a good result. So maybe this is a springboard for him to gain that confidence back.
We were following this freestyle tournament on Norwegian TV as well, and we were informed by our reporter Sverre that Fabi was probably taking the finals in this World Championship quite seriously, because he didn't want to play too many rounds of Avalon in the day before the big finals. But did he participate in the very end of the tournament, David?
No.
No, that's even worse.
I know. We had a closing dinner and every seat was full, so he ended up sitting next to me. So that's
That's the only reason.
Tough luck.
Tough luck, I know. But I didn't know what to say. He went to bed very early. I just kind of tried to give him a hug, which I don't think he realized was a hug. And then I just said, like, good luck at the candidates. Like, you can do it. And he looked really focused. Like, he played some code names every evening, but only for like half an hour each night or 1 hour max, straight to bed. Super serious. He looks like he's in focus mode now.
And Christian, how difficult do you think it is to kind of bounce back from like such a setback and then have to play again like every single week, and you have the candidates coming up? If you feel like, oh, you're like really disappointed by a bad result, but you have so many tournaments lined up, what is that like?
Well, it depends a bit on how you take it, really. I mean, second place is by no means a bad result, and I mean, freestyle chess is still, it's chess, but it's not really chess. It's like another format of chess, I suppose. And I don't know. I think it's not too heartbreaking to give away that title for him as it would have been to let's say lose the candidates or something like this. Mm-hmm. So no, I think, I mean, they call him Mr. Consistency for a reason. He's He's a serious guy. He knows how to play chess. He knows how to lose his chess as well. Because, I mean, as a chess player, you also lose quite a bit. But no, I think he can bounce back for sure. He still has a lot of good years, and he's still super strong.
And I'm happy to see him participating here in the titled Tuesday. But as this is round 4, we will be back in a very short break. All right, so we're off to a good start here in the first 4 rounds, at least if your name is Jeffrey Zhang, if your name is Denis Lazovic, Wesley So, but we're missing some of the top players. But what I'm excited to see now, do we have any predictions for what country is leading on the country standings now that so many of the favorites are not off to the best start?
Oh, it's always USA.
Always USA?
They have Zhang, Wesley So, Fabiano there.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
Poland next.
The experts have spoken. Oh, and it is Poland. We've got Iran and India and Argentina, thanks to Faustino Oro, among others. So these are the top nations at the moment. But most of the players, they're mostly focused on their own results. But yeah, you were happy to see Adrian here on the top 20 list.
Yes, of course. He's a good friend of mine, and I know he doesn't play as much now as he did before, because he's studying in the US. But it's nice to see a friendly, familiar face on the scoreboard there.
Yeah, you guys should be grateful. Like I'm still waiting for the week where England finishes top 20. Like one day.
You're sitting here and waiting for it, David. Make it happen.
Yes.
No, just kidding. Stay here.
1 week I'll play in. Wow, we've got some big games. Arjun Erigaisi against Caruana is one of the biggest. Alexander Grishuk against Faustino Oro. That's the clash of generations. But here we go. It's 2 world-class players.
Already in the 5th round. That is a big matchup.
Already.
This is a treat. And Caruana goes for a King's Indian setup, which usually means an interesting game.
Mm-hmm. Is this the bluff? Does this mean he definitely will not play the King's Indian defense at the candidates tournament?
Probably.
I also am so interested in how they make these opening choices when they're playing so many games online against other top players and you don't want to be admitting any of your preparations. It must be very difficult to kind of save your good preparations for when it really matters in the candidates.
Well, as a top player, you know basically everything. Like most of these players can play all the openings. They know a lot of the ideas. Maybe they're not too confident in certain openings, but still, when it's blitz, you can just do whatever. And I think many of them just choose opening based on how they want the game to be. If they want fighting chess, if they want strategic positional maneuvering chess, stuff like this. So I would say that this indicates that Caruana wants a fighting game.
Yeah, it's funny because if he was thinking about the opponent, this is probably not the opening to play. Really dynamic, allows Arjun to attack, but it probably matches Fabiano's mood. Just kind of, let's go for it, let's go for the win, let's try to shake off those ghosts, those memories from a few days ago. This King's Indian defense has turned into what looks like a Benoni, with this pawn structure against White's central pawns. And the opening of the f-file, White pushing f4, means he's going to go for the attack. Long-term, Black's doing okay with a strong knight, but I do fear short-term, White's going to have some attack initiative going.
Yeah, the engine really hates the Benoni and it hates the King's Indian. It always gives such a massive advantage for White, but in practical play, it's not as easy as the engine says it is. So I wouldn't write Caruana off yet, at least. But I have to admit that I like White's position, though.
Yeah, Arjun's doing the idea that you guys did show with the arrows, and he probably is a player who likes this kind of attacking chess. So interesting strategy from Caruana to pick this opening against him.
Can White win the f7 pawn here?
Oh yeah, white could have taken the knight and then taken a pawn. Maybe he's just reluctant to give up his dark squared bishop this early. But yeah, I mean, it's just so natural and easy for white to play this this position. I do quite like what Fabiano is doing, though. He's saying, okay, I'm going to stare at your queen. I'm maybe going to bring my knight forward. He's going to just try and put everything on dark squares. But Arjun doesn't care. He's just going to double up on the f-file. I actually thought his rook might swing over a bit earlier. I've seen Arjun do that before in this exact pawn structure, but this time he goes for the doubled rooks. And Fabiano just brings his remaining pieces into the game.
Yeah. So he doubles up. I probably think Karana is going to bring his rook into the game somehow. f8, e8 maybe. Maybe f8.
Yeah, just to defend.
Yeah.
Defend this weak pawn.
There's also this break with f5 sometimes.
Yeah, that would be a cool move. Would lead to some real complications. And wow, good call.
Yeah. It's not a good move, but
The idea is
is what he plays. Well,
he's listening to the broadcast clearly. That's
this is hard to evaluate.
wow. Okay, so the white queen moves. Now there is a big threat of taking this knight, and then the black bishop would be hit. It didn't work earlier because the black bishop would have hit the white queen.
Yeah, and the pawn on h6 is hanging as well. It seems like this is maybe just collapsing for Fabi here.
Yeah, looks like just tactically it loses a pawn. But okay, the game goes on. He's still got two strong pieces. The knight, maybe the bishop. If he can defend the bishop.
Yeah. He needs to move the bishop, I suppose.
Maybe
Where to go, though? d7, maybe?
Looks like one of these two squares.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, that one.
This one.
Very active.
Yep. Never go backwards, always forward.
Words to live by. Okay, pawn down for Fabiano, but still looking for activity here. He might double up his rooks.
Yeah, under some pressure, but maybe he can conjure up some sort of attack here.
That's the thing about the Benoni. And whoa, blunder.
Oh, how?
I was going to say, Benoni, you always get counter chances, you always get tricks. But why was that last move a blunder? Apparently knight into d3 was a super strong move there. For very unclear reasons.
Yes.
I think essentially the knight into d3, white would have had to take it as it was a fork, and if the white rook on f1 had moved away, then rook f8 would have been a skewer. But yeah, long variation, difficult to see in blitz.
Can't blame the players for that one.
No, it's like this knight on e5 is black's best piece by a long stretch, so you're very reluctant to give it up unless you really have to. I mean, it's hard to look for such moves in this time control.
Yeah, and it was like a one-off random move in the middle of an abyss there. Like, yeah, I think unless we told Fabiano there was something there, difficult to spot. And okay, the game goes on. Much better for white because he's a pawn up. I don't think it's that easy.
It does.
It's kind of like both players are kind of attacking at the same time, which is very weird to see. Like, it's both Caruana's king, who has no pawns in front of him, and there's also these two rooks that are trying to attack Arjun's king. So, wow. It's
They've just
chaotic.
occupied the file each. Like, black is controlling the G file, white is controlling the F file. Let's see who can make better use of their file.
Yeah, and Fabiano being low on time does scare me a bit.
Yeah.
We saw what happened at the Freestyle World Championship. He's one of those players who needs time. Arjun maybe is a bit more trusting of his instincts.
Okay, so maybe trade now.
Looks natural.
Yeah, okay, maybe not.
That's a weird square though. What's it actually doing? That black bishop suddenly. He needed to buy himself some time. His rook is now hit.
Now queen h6.
Yeah.
For the third or fourth time? No.
Ooh. That's a cool move. Rook takes pawn would be strong if it wasn't for a rook check there from white. Suddenly the bishop is under fire, but can retreat.
Yeah, no worries.
Maybe the rook can block as well if he wants to be super safe.
Yeah.
There we go.
Now he wants to trade the queens.
Okay.
Hikaru has won his game. He's back on 4 out of 5 after losing in round 4 against Rudik Makarian. So a disappointing result for Hikaru, but good to see that he is getting back on the horse. Can still win this title Tuesday if he wins all of his games.
Bishop c2 is probably needed to prevent knight e4, but no. Knight e4.
Yeah, knight to e4 looked very strong with some fork ideas if the black bishop had moved or taken a pawn.
Yeah, still knight e4. Or trade rooks and then go knight e4.
Yeah, this looks very, very good for Arjun Erigaisi.
Gobble up all the pawns and... Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Time is evening out a bit though.
Yeah, I was worried for Fabi's clock, but it was a complicated position where they both spent quite a bit of time. Less than a minute for both of them now. 2 passed pawns for Arjun.
Yeah. Fabiano needs to somehow get rid of all the queenside pawns, trade off the knights, and then give his bishop up for the g-pawn.
Within 36 seconds.
Yeah. He's won one of the pawns, but all of his pieces are elsewhere. The white pawns are storming forward. Is now the time to push. Arjun goes with his king.
Well, like just looking at the position. Oh,
Looking at the position, it looks very close to a draw.
it does.
If black gets 1 or 2 more moves, but
Oh,
pawns are strong. Pawns are pushing. They're pushing again.
and the king is blocked off.
You can't do anything. If the black bishop stops the advance of this pawn, the white bishop trades off.
Okay, so it's resigning.
And there we go. Fabi resigns. Arjun takes the win.
And gets to a perfect score of 5 points. And here we have the battle of generations. We've got Alexander Grishuk against Faustino Oro. They only have seconds left of this game, but it looks like it should be Grishuk's to win.
Yeah, that's just too many pawns. 5 on 1. Yes, black has a knight, but Faustino, unless he can give something up, then he's going to be in trouble. Is the white rook going to deliver a nasty checkmate behind? That is so sneaky, so strong, and it's going to force Faustino to resign. He's got no time.
Oh.
Game over. Great finish, though. Great finish by Grishuk.
Grishuk,
And he looks-
such a classy player.
Yeah.
Wow.
Faustino looks visibly very disappointed in himself there. I was going to say that we've seen Magnus be able to flag Grishuk in the final seconds, but not in this game. And we see that Wesley takes an important win against Jan Krzysztof Duda, who's done very well in these Title Tuesdays. So another good point for Wesley, who is 1 out of only 4 players now with a perfect 5 out of 5. This could be his week.
It could be. It could be. He's playing really well. Like you said, like Duda, he's been maybe the most impressive, consistent player over the winter split. So not an easy win to take, especially with black. Looks like Andreikin might be winning on the bar over there. Might be shooting up Esipenko as well to join the leaders.
My boy Arjen lost. Very sad to see, but let's hope he can come back. Maybe he will play Magnus. Is he still playing the tournament?
He is still playing the tournament. I did check, and Magnus, he did win. He now has 3.5 out of 5 points.
Okay. We also see Hikaru on the scoreboard now with 4 points. So he's climbing with only 1 loss, I suspect, so far.
That's right. And here we go. It's Andrei Esipenko, who's shortly due for the candidates tournament against Arjun Erigaisi, who didn't make it, but yeah, it's one of the elite. French defense.
French defense. Interesting opening. You get this type of position, which is very Frenchy, with the close center usually, and chances for both players. Very, very interesting opening.
Yeah, and Esipenko, it was interesting to note he paused after the French defense was played. He was like, I definitely don't want to show my candidates prep.
Oh.
What should I do instead? So he goes for the main line. Classical variation.
Yeah, Ding used to play the French defense in his World Championship match, right?
Yeah.
It was funny, Ding like nearly never played the French his whole career, and then he suddenly played 2 World Championship matches, played the French in both.
He won one of them, didn't he?
Yeah, he beat
That was
Bukash in
crazy.
game 1 of their match with the French. And here we see a very blocked pawn structure. I was always scared of playing this with black just because it felt like white has an easy plan, but there's enough pressure on the white center yet, for now, at least.
Bishop d3. Okay, so you have some options here with black how to try and break open. So Arjun goes for f6, interesting choice, but you can always think about if you should go, b4 or c4 or c takes d4. There's a lot of options of how you want to try and open up the position and get this light squared bishop, some air and some life.
And what should white do now? Just waiting for the inevitable break of his center. Something's coming, something's happening.
Yeah, if it does nothing, it's like black will get a lot of pressure with just taking on e5, taking on d4, and suddenly the e5 pawn is going to be very weak in the middle. So you need to do something actively, I suppose. Okay, just develops the rook on a good square. Can't be too bad, I suppose.
Yeah. When in doubt, improve a bad piece.
Yeah.
And here we go. The tactics are starting.
Arjun's been playing really fast this opening, though.
Okay, so you need to take with the f pawn, right? If you take with the d pawn, then there's a fork with d4. If you take with the knight, then the d4 pawn is hanging.
What's he thinking about?
Yeah,
Oh, I think he's maybe only just realized if he takes with this pawn, there might be rook takes knight.
Ooh, classic sacrifice.
Yeah, and then the pawn will fork two pieces, and he panics, he blunders, knight takes pawn.
Oh, look at his reaction.
Oh, he realizes.
Oh, goodness.
But how is black winning?
Just take and then put something on d4.
Yes.
It's just a fork.
It's just a fork. Wow. Huh.
Wow, that fell apart quickly.
Yeah, it really did.
Wow, apparently he didn't need to panic in the last position. That tactic wasn't working for black with the rook takes knight. He could have just taken back with the pawn and the game would have gone on.
Wow. And look at him, he's very upset. But as you said, David, he seemed to not want to play what he may have been preparing for against the French. And that's the big cost of playing these candidates tournaments, that you don't want to show your hand too early.
Exactly. That's one reason we're speculating that has caused Hikaru's dip in form. And it was visible there that he spent like 20 seconds, 30 seconds before going into this variation and he wasn't comfortable.
It's a bit weird, though. Do you think that the players who will play the candidates are looking through these games like eliminating, okay, so he's not going to play this, he's not going to play this because...
I don't think Espenko's going to be playing this one again, yeah. But I guess if their seconds are paying attention, maybe that should be their job.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be a bit tricky, then maybe you should play your prep, because then people will think, okay, so he's not going to play this because he played the title Tuesday. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's mind games involved as well. Sometimes you play almost your prep, but slightly different. Esipenko looks devastated, having blundered a piece. But that type of thing happens. Arjun plays the French quite a lot and knows all the ideas inside out. So this is heartbreaking for Esipenko.
Oh, he has resigned.
He's mentally not at the game anymore.
No,
Mentally checked out.
Oh, gosh.
he might as well resign, I think.
Yeah,
Put himself out of this misery.
this is over. At this level, minute and a half down, piece down.
I mean, you can try to fight for sure, but yeah, okay, Queen H5, trying to get some perpetual check or something. But
Okay, that's clever.
I don't know, G6 maybe?
Yeah, G6 looks professional.
But then suddenly Queen G4, and then, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe C4. I guess the white bishop can stay on the diagonal.
Yeah.
It's not over. It's not over yet. He does play your move G6 and, okay, keeps the advantage. How to hold these pawns, though. Bishop takes pawn sacrifice.
Yeah, you don't really want to allow it, but then, I mean, okay, Rook F5 maybe?
Yeah, Rook F5 looks like a good practical decision. At least white won't be too much material behind. Still probably just worse.
Yeah.
Or lost, but Arjun will play Rook F5. He doesn't like to defend passively.
No.
I would play like, I don't know, King H8 or something. King G7, but okay, he doesn't give back any material.
Oh, and look at Espenko. He's kind of waking up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's stopped being depressed over his previous moves.
You have to accept the position as it is and try to fight on.
He's alive.
Yeah,
calculating.
Take E6, play F5.
Ooh, maybe white should have taken the other piece. How can that be a mistake?
Yes.
Oh, game on.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Young Christian would love this position in a blitz game down the pub.
Well, yes. I wouldn't be too sad with this position. Not at all. Okay, you have options now. Guess the rook is hanging, but do we really care about it? Oh,
What? What is this? He wants to give up his bishop.
Oh, but he's laughing at his own move again.
no, but what's happening? You took on g6. What's going on here?
I think he wanted to play pawn to f6 and catch the king, but there would have been bishop to c8 ideas. Did he mouse slip? What's happened to Esipenko? His queen gets
This
hit.
game has been a roller coaster for him. It's even worse that he got like a brief moment of hope. And then,
He just threw it all away with
just as we started to see him not shaking his head, he's back.
bishop h6. Such a strange move.
Did he play the right idea just in the wrong order? Did he mean to give a check with a pawn first and then bring his bishop to h6 and then come in?
Yeah, that's what he's thinking of now.
Now he's heartbroken for the second time this game. Oh my.
This game is mental torture for him.
Oh, oh, such a heartbreak. It's like one thing to make a big blunder, but then come back at chances, but then just blunder straight up.
Let's hope he speaks to a sports psychologist before the candidates. Arjun is thinking though.
He is, and well, the clock is ticking. It's not. Well,
I mean, Arjun is up a rook and two pieces, so probably should win.
probably, but Arjun's king is in some trouble.
Yeah, he's going to use the queen as a shield, block any checks.
Check on h3 and e3.
Yeah.
I'm not even looking at the bar anymore saying that Arjun is massively better. I'm just looking at Esipenko's reaction because when he gets a chance, he'll wake back up and we'll see it on his face.
If he gets a chance.
If he does.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's threatening something.
Sacrificing the rook.
Giving up a second rook. He's going to be down.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that was a blunder fiesta.
Wow. He literally blundered all his pieces. He kept his queen
Oh,
somehow.
wow. What a disappointment for him.
We've all been there. We've all been there. In the meantime, battle of two of the leaders, Wesley So against Thina Move Ahead. Who's going to move ahead and take the lead in this game?
How many times do you think we're going to be using the different puns with this guy's name?
Until he retires from chess. A few more years.
And Wesley has 20 more seconds. That could be very useful.
Ooh, and an extra pawn, maybe two extra pawns. Although that would allow the black king in. Okay, no checkmates. Wesley, I think he's going to win this on the board, maybe, but also definitely the clock. As long as you keep your rook on the board.
Oh, can't take the pawn because of a fork.
Yeah, that would have been a knight fork.
Wesley making progress, and he's gaining a bigger time advantage.
Oh, he's playing very rapidly.
Very good moves as well. Like that pin, really costly for move ahead on the clock.
Wesley looking like he's in very good shape today. Could be his first Title Tuesday win since they changed the time format.
Ooh, and a blunder. Maybe the white pawn can start pushing. Some knight checks first.
No rush with this time. You can just try not to blunder, and then he will win on time.
Exactly. Wesley not going for the best moves, but ooh,
Oh,
some checks. He's going to keep the rooks on. That's the most important thing. 2 seconds for black. The clock is fully red. White is now totally winning with the pawn pushing. And is he blundered into a perpetual here? No time for black. No time for black. It's suddenly a draw, but the time runs out.
Oh. And Lazovic against Pranav, both with like 7 or 6 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, Pranav's just blundered his knight. Oh no, the white knight and pawn defend each other and the king goes forward.
Oh,
Heartbreaking,
wow.
but has he got enough time? 4 seconds for Denis Lazovic. Can he mate with the queen with 4 seconds left?
should be enough.
He's not even trying to mate, he's just making moves.
He's pre-moving. He's trying to cut the king on squares, not allowing Pranav to pre-move through the checks. 2 seconds versus 1 second. Denis Lazovic's going to get there slowly but surely. He doesn't even want to use his king. 1 second against 1 second. How's Pranav staying alive? How's he guessing the moves?
How is he not trying to checkmate?
And there we go. Denis Lazovic gets the job done.
That was an unconventional way of winning, but we shouldn't doubt this guy in speed chess. I mean, getting third place at the speed chess championship recently, he must have a lot of confidence with his pre-moves, but I don't understand why he didn't just try to checkmate the king there.
Yeah, 4 seconds should be enough. At some point, he even cut the king off. He could have just gone bang, bang, bang on the king. Wow, we have some big matches in this round. Wesley So against Alexander Grishuk. Arjun Hiragaisi against Denis Lazovic. Hikaru Nakamura is playing Fabiano Caruana. And Vincent Keimer is playing Faustino Oro, who recovered from the loss earlier. And, okay, Sicilian Najdorf.
Yes.
This is heavy, heavy stuff from both players. They both want this win.
This is cool guys chess. This is how the cool guys play.
Yeah.
We're taking notes.
Who's the cooler of the two?
Oof. I have to give Grishuk the coolest guy.
Thug life.
Yeah. His interviews are one
of
the best there is, I think.
I love watching Grishuk's interview compilations on YouTube. They are hilarious.
Yeah, I never know whether he even means it.
Yeah.
He just has it with a total like deadpan expression, blank face.
But Wesley also has a lot of original quotes that I feel like no other player would make this kind of a comment. So they're both really entertaining. Yeah. And now they're both leading the tournament with 6 points. It's going to be very exciting. And none of them have won the title Tuesday since they changed the format. So that would mean a lot for them and could increase their chances of qualifying for the Chess.com Global Championship in April.
So these positions are usually a bit tricky to play, I feel like. Very. So black always has this backward d6 pawn, which can be targeted. But if black is able to move it forward to d5, then usually black is doing fine. Yeah, what else to say about this position?
Yeah, it's just very positional for a Sicilian, for an open Sicilian. This is one of the more positional lines. I think you're right. Like, it's all about this backward black pawn and the square in front of it. If white can trade off the light squared bishops, for example, somehow trade off the knight, not possible now, but then, yeah, this is a beautiful home for the white knight. Black has isolated pawn on the edge of the board as well, but open lines to compensate. I always think it's kind of dynamically probably just balanced, but less risk with white maybe. Strategically with white, even if things get traded off, even if you allow d5, you should be fine-ish. But okay, he goes the other way. Wants to land a fork. Grishuk probably will spot that one.
Yeah, so rook b8 is probably logical response to this. Yeah, b3, c4, interesting. Cementing this d5 square.
Okay, he doesn't go for it. I thought that was the idea behind his last move. And now, apparently, black's slightly better for the first time in this game. Hits a pawn.
Yeah, you have to be careful of this c2 pawn. Both of these rooks are in semi-open files, targeting these weak b2, c2 pawns.
Oh, that's...
He's creating a lot of threats now.
Yeah, I really hated this move, like putting the knight on the edge of the board. It felt like a one-move trick. Kind of helped black to play a move he wanted to play anyway. And now, Jon Christian, you saw the future. He's going to blow it open with d5.
But let's say we go c4 with white here. Can black really take on e4?
Yeah, maybe. Can he take it and back it up with the pawn?
Yeah, probably right.
Ooh, good question though. The knight is able to capture a pawn right now.
Yes.
Walking into a pin, a self pin.
Like, you can also take the knight and go something like knight b6, because the a6 pawn is hanging also.
I think that might be his plan. Wesley So. Grishuk loves a bit of time trouble though. He loves to spend the time. He's going to be thinking about this big, big critical decision now for a while.
Well, he loves he loves to be low on time in classical, I know, but does he love it in this format? Probably not, no?
Probably not. He's had a few flagging moments.
Yeah, and he's been up on time for such a long time in this game, but now he's passing Wesley.
Whoa, I was going to say, never take that pawn, but he's happy to walk into this pin instead. Very important that the black rook holds this square.
Okay, but he's asking some good questions. How do you respond to this? I didn't even think that this was a possibility.
I looked at it for half a second and I was like, nope, just never dare to do this. But actually, if he gets one more move and moves the queen out the way, he's just a pawn up.
Like bishop e2, then you just take on e4 with the queen, I suppose.
Yeah, would have been 2 pawns.
Queen, rook c3. That does not look like the correct way to tackle this.
Wow, he's hoping that knight takes pawn. He can meet maybe by moving the queen out the way, and everything's pinned for black.
But he's still not even threatening to go b3. He just wants to... And he can't double the rooks. I don't understand this move.
Don't understand either, but apparently a mistake from Grishuk. He's forced some tricks now, Wesley So, and jumps in with his knight.
How does this work?
Wesley is making a lot of decisions quite quickly.
But Whoa, how?
Yeah.
Can't you just take it?
Once everything gets taken on the b6 square where this knight is standing, at the very end, white's going to double pin
Like
the bishop.
this.
Oh, it's happening.
No way to break this pin. Oh, with the queen as well. Even better. Grishuk's desperately trying to confuse Wesley here. But the bishop can just move. Can step back.
Yes.
Is there more? Is there something better? You can also take that pawn. I don't really see what's wrong with it. There we go. Wesley is just taking everything he's given.
He still maintained a balance on the clocks, which could be important. They're down to 2 minutes now.
And yeah, he's going to be the exchange up. Apparently another blunder from Grishuk.
Bishop d3.
Oh, bishop d3. Yeah, so many tempting bishop moves. Bishop d3 looks the best of the bunch. Although there, black will take it. And we'll have 3 pieces versus 2 rooks.
That's true.
Okay, what is the winning move now?
Wesley spending some time here. So it can't be too obvious.
Okay, he plays the other one. He hits the black rook. But, tripling up. Not the best way there. This is the most natural move by far. Hitting the bishop.
Just take on d5 with the queen.
Yeah, that looks good. Counterattack against white's bishop. It has to be something to hit the white bishop. Black can't move anything else.
Oh, and they're both spending quite a lot of time in this section of the game. It's going to be very exciting towards the end here. No matter what the bar is saying.
It's a crazy position. Wesley saves his bishop, though. Oh, maybe this wasn't the best way to hit the bishop. After all, when the dust settles, the black bishop is doomed. No way to save it. Too much pressure.
Bishop b3. Can we try some tricks?
Yeah, maybe some tricks with the black bishop.
Minute left for Grishuk. He has to start making his decisions a bit quicker.
Yeah, he gives up the knight for bishop there. But now he's just going to be the exchange down.
Yes.
But can he make some kind of threat to checkmate? Can he do something crazy?
Some back rank tricks. Yeah, he needs to try something, but one white rook will always stay covering the white king on the first rank.
What about playing the bishop next to his king, next to Wesley's king to threaten checkmate? I don't know. No, it doesn't work.
Oh, I love that idea. Bishop f1, that would have been super cool.
It was not.
It wasn't quite working, and Grishuk's just down the exchange. I like that idea.
Do you ever like to just gamble the game and hope that your opponent did a pre-move or something?
Yeah, I've done that many times.
That's my Hail Mary kind of test in the end.
If it was 20 seconds versus 20 seconds, that might have been a genius idea. In the meantime, he's trying to keep the white rook honest. But the black bishop is so bad, and there we go. Wesley wins. If the king had taken the rook, it would have been a checkmate in the corner. And if the queen had taken, the black rook would have fallen. And here we go, heavyweight clash.
Oh, wow.
And
that was a disappointing end to this game. I was like, they've only got 40 seconds left. It's going to be interesting who's going to try to flag who, but mutual respect here, I guess, is the reason why they agreed to a draw.
Yeah, they've been
Fair
teammates.
result.
Yeah. Where's the ruthlessness?
I thought
Hikaru?
beef.
Well, we heard Hikaru discussing his game there. Hikaru, who now has 5.5 points, so still in contention. But these two guys, Arjun here with a perfect score so far.
What? Oh.
Forktown. Denis Lazovic gets the job done.
Yep.
It was a skewer first of all, then a fork, and the game ends. White losing material. Denis is just so cool. Never looks flustered. Arjun was on such a hot streak, but he has been stopped in his tracks.
That means that Lazovic, he is at 6.5 points, as we can see, in second place behind Wesley. So the only player with a perfect score after 7 rounds. Could be Wesley's big day after just beating Grishuk. And I have been paying attention. Magnus, he's still playing, and he has won 3 in a row. So he's at 5.5 points, and we can see him in 18th place, just behind Arjen. So Team Norway is doing pretty good now, Jon
Yeah,
Christian.
Arjen is back on the scoreboard. It's nice to see. Maybe we'll have a Norwegian matchup.
Wow.
Final seconds here.
Wow, Faustino, he was actually at a winning position earlier against Vincent Keimer, but he's got 3 seconds extra. If he can keep the rook on, he can flag his German opponent. 4 seconds versus 7. The clocks are red. Faustino's so quick. He had chances. Will he get more? He's taking big risk here. It's a drawn position. Faustino, 3 seconds. Vincent has no time. And we see a fist pump there from Faustino. He gets the win. Wow, that was the definition of a dirty flag.
It's almost as if Faustino's apologizing to his opponent with all of these head shakes. But very important points for him. Faustino now at 6 points out of 7. Definitely could be one of his best results ever in this Title Tuesday.
Such a dirty flag as well. You see that Keimer spent some time when he was checked by the rook because he was expecting Faustino just to take the pawn and take the draw, but then you lose that 1 second, and that's all that matters in this game, unfortunately.
Exactly. It's the tricks of the trade, it's experience. And I mean, he's 12 years old, but he's got a lot of experience in those types of battles. Oh, Vincent's going to be fuming. But Faustino, fantastic. He did what he should do. Everyone's done it. Everyone needs to. If they want to win Title Tuesday, you have to be ruthless. And Alexander Grishuk, he is back to this old thing.
Yep.
Back to the trusty Najdorf. Didn't work out last time. Slightly different variation this time as Nepomniachtchi jumps in with his knight. It's going to get traded off, most likely. Can't let that live for too long.
Why not?
Probably the white pawn backs it up.
I see.
Or, yeah, knight takes this bishop, the white rook slides, and difficult to defend some pawns in the center.
Makes sense.
Jan has won 5 games in a row after losing his second round. So it's encouraging to see so many of these top players. They're kind of messing it up against their lower rated opponents, but then they're striking back. Grishuk, who had a perfect score for a very long time in this tournament, just losing for the first time in his last round. So he kind of needs to brush off that loss against Wesley So.
Yep, still enough time after the second break to charge ahead. Okay, the bishop moves. Black castles. Yeah, this pawn structure, I've always really liked it from the black side, just having a bit of flexibility. If the black knight ever moves, you get to start pushing your f-pawn forward. Just feels like, especially in blitz, having extra pawns in front of your king to throw towards the enemy king is good. But white does have the 2 bishops. White does have a nice square for the knight, maybe, to put some pressure. And white's, of course, going to try and throw some pawns forward of his own.
I would love to see Grishuk on camera here. He's a very expressive player as well.
Always frowning.
Yeah.
Yeah, my craziest time scramble was against him. We both had around 1 minute on the clock, with increment though, but for 25, 30 moves. And yeah, it was crazy playing against the master himself. Dark squared blockade in the meantime for black.
So how did it go, David?
I won.
Yes, of course.
But I don't think I would win many of those scrambles against him. I started from a position of strength, luckily. Okay, now I really like white's position. This pawn is hit. The rook is going to be kicked away.
Yeah, it's sad that I can't play like queen c7, which I would love to do, but then, yeah, the rook is just trapped.
What else to do? Maybe queen in the corner, but it looks a bit superficial. He brings it to d7 instead.
Yeah.
Nice square, but maybe the black knight wanted to use that square.
Yeah, white has options here. Yeah, bishop e3 makes a lot of sense. Rook c1 makes a lot of sense. Free up the queen a little bit. What else to do? Bishop b6 maybe?
Yep. Go pawn hunting.
Yeah.
He's doing the same, but just in a different way. Hitting an undefended pawn. And yeah, what black needs is a knight to somehow come over to this side of the board, just sit on the dark squares, but not easy. And now the pawn is very weak on a light square.
Yeah. It's like this pawn You can always just trade it off as well if you want this white with b3 or b4, starting to try to create a majority.
But counterplay is coming.
It is.
And a minute up for Nepomniachtchi. That's also an important factor here. But Grishuk, I feel like he isn't usually prioritizing the clock in, like, that's not his main focus in most of his games. But he was able to trade off that pawn on the left side now.
Yeah, he just prioritizes good moves. He wants to win on the board. He's very, very classical in his training, in his understanding. Surprised he hasn't pushed this pawn immediately.
Yeah.
Felt like that was the whole point of his last move, getting the black knight out of the way. But maybe he's got something else in mind. He first hits the white queen, forces her back, and now, surely.
Oh, he keeps postponing it.
Okay, once the bishop's off, also good kind of long-term decision, but the black knight now somewhat clumsy, almost trapped, only has one square to come back to.
Funny.
And there we go. White pushes through in the center. We've seen a change in pawn structure, double attack, knight hit, pawn hit.
Okay, so rook e8 maybe.
Rook e8 was also possible. He's trying to threaten that instead. But can white get away with grabbing this pawn? Is that too greedy? And then dropping the white queen back to defend the bishop.
That's probably fine.
Okay, he goes back the other way, getting his queen out of harm's way.
Yeah, so he's semi-threatening h4. Why not go to d3 though?
Yeah, he wanted to get the queen out of the way so that he can start throwing his pawn forward.
Ah, this is his plan.
There we go. Maybe it was first better to kick the black knight, but definitely easier for white to play this position. That pawn's so strong.
Oh, that's a big pawn.
Oof, this is ugly. Suddenly, the black rook had to stay on the 8th rank. If it had moved, then the white queen would have swooped in to break the blockade.
So if h4, do we go knight e6, just trying to, undermine the pawn a little bit?
That looked the way to go. He's trying to stop your idea, knight to e6, but now the knight's kicked away.
Okay, nice square on f6 though, hitting the pawn, but it's still really strong.
That square was too nice. He would take that knight if it ever lands on f6.
Yes.
Oh, the white pieces look so active. The black pieces look so passive.
They are. It's getting tougher to find moves.
No checks for the black queen. Wait, she's trapped. Wait, the black queen is trapped.
Wow.
That is beautiful. Black pawn has to dive in the way, but it's going to be at least a 1 pawn, maybe 2 pawn advantage for Nepomniachtchi.
Yeah, Nepo's taking this for sure. Unless he makes a huge error.
Yeah, he's being very professional now, just getting the queens off. Black is playing without a rook. And barring any miracles, looks like a white win.
So professional decision, David, is that usually like a practical decision, you feel like?
Yeah, exactly. Just something to minimize the risk.
Someone with a lot of experience.
Yes, you don't want to give your opponent any hope, even if the counterplay is like fake and just purely visual. You don't want to even give them that.
What would be the best compliment you could receive, Jon Christian, if David said something about one of your moves?
Like professional, that's a
up
very,
there.
very nice compliment.
Yeah.
I have to say. Because I feel like I don't play very professional chess. So,
You play romantic chess.
yes. So if I suddenly start playing professionally, then that would be a shocker.
I have to check you for stockfish.
yes.
Oh no! In the meantime, this position looking very, very good for white.
This is going
big pawns.
from bad to worse, move by move.
Yeah, you can start pushing another pawn. Just plant your bishop. 1 pawn paralyzes a whole army.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, wait.
Rook e8 stuff sometimes soon, maybe.
Rook e8 coming. I thought there was a trick there, knight takes pawn, but maybe the white rook would have just slid across, trying to get some tactics against the white king and against the rook.
Like you can start attacking the black king as well now if you want to. Trying to... Okay, rook g5 even.
Yep. He's playing very professionally, just defending everything.
Yes. Very professional.
Yeah. He saw the checkmate threat on h2.
Yeah, those are important to spot.
Everything defended.
King G2, professional. Yes, yes.
Sadistic.
Okay, that's a new one.
He knows that this is painful for Gashuk to have to tolerate. He's just controlling everything. Perfect centralization. Now he's moving on over.
This is the kind of game when you're kind of like, you get a little bit sick of chess because you're like, I hate playing in this way. There's no pieces to move.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is awful.
Yeah, it's like he didn't do much wrong, but somehow he still got tortured like this.
Oh, my.
Oh, and that rook is dropping.
What is... This is just... Yeah.
It's just game over.
Yeah.
Great win from Nepo. Very, very impressive. Very professional.
Very professional game. Let's see the final seconds here. It's Faustino against Dinam Overhead. There's two young players. What's happening, David?
Well, we actually just saw a queen sacrifice from Sina Overhead, but he promoted a pawn, and now he's 3 pawns up. Faustino's about to resign. No time. Wow. Clash of the youngsters. It's the Iranian who emerges on top.
Moves to 7 points. He must surely be among the top contenders then for winning this week's tournament. Wesley So.
How old is Overhead?
Oh, I think around 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we see Wesley So, who is the leader of the tournament. At the moment, he's struggling big time. He has a bishop in place of a rook against Lazovic. But the time...
It's all about the clock. Wesley So is hustling here, hoping for a miracle. Oh, I think there's enough time if he can race through. Wesley,
He has to play, though.
he's got to move. He's frozen.
What is he doing?
You've got to flag the opponent. That was game ending. That was costly for Wesley So. Denis Lazovic now has to win this, surely. 2 extra seconds and with a material advantage. It's so much easier to play with rooks here. Give a check, get those rooks off the board. He can pre-move anything on dark squares now. He just needs to pre-move.
Wow.
Wesley, was that an internet connection?
It must have been something because we've seen Wesley make a lot of quick moves earlier today. And Lazovic, he almost can't believe what he's seeing. He really thought he was going to lose that on time. He had so much less time. And that means that Lazovic, he is in the lead. He's the only player at 7.5 points, followed by a huge pack of players at 7 points.
Well, Magnus and Arjen are climbing. 6.5 together with Hikaru, Karana. Yeah, okay. Maybe they will get chances now.
Yeah, the door's just opened. If Wesley won that on time, he would be at 8 points. Like, you can't imagine really Magnus catching up with 3 rounds to go. Suddenly, yes, 7.5, but if Lazovic gets held to a draw or gets taken down, even the pack on 6.5 have chances.
Yeah, still 3 rounds to go.
Tournament on.
This is far from over.
And it is the 8th round, so that means that the players are going to have a short break, and we will be back in just a second.
Here we go.
All right, and I thought we might take another look at the country standings now that we have 2 Norwegians in the top 20. I'm not biased by any means. Please, let's hope. Let's hope. Yay!
15th.
And Jon Christian, you have been a coach for the national team. So this is good for you.
Yes, yes, yes.
You have reason to be proud.
I'm very proud. I hope Arjen will continue his streak. It seems like he has won a lot of games in a row. I don't know who he has played, but 6.5 at this stage of the tournament is still really strong.
Absolutely, and it could be his best placement ever. He's currently in 11th place as we see here, so he even has the opportunity to win the tournament. It is wide open. And some of our viewers, they may have seen this QR code today during our broadcast, and I thought I would explain a little bit about that. So I do have my phone here, and I will show you guys what happens when I visited the app that you are taken to through this QR code. And David, the first thing I'm noticing,
Oops.
What have you been up to today?
Let's just say that I was in the office alone for half the day. I didn't know what else to do. I was trying to warm up for this broadcast. You know, my mind was a bit sluggish. I'd been traveling yesterday. I wanted to see tactics, play tactics, and I ended up playing lots of ultra bullet games, 30-second games.
30-second games.
Yeah, and I must admit, I was being a bit naughty. I was playing like knight f3, knight g1, knight f3, knight g1 to try and play as quickly as possible. But,
wow. And so you played 27 games, and you won all of them.
Yeah, but not against Grandmaster opposition.
It deserves a reaction, and the reaction appropriate for this is insane.
You're spying on me, Maud.
And we can also see
All my sins laid bare.
what I'm actually taking a little bit of offense to is that I played one game yesterday, so that's nothing in comparison to you. I was just like, oh, I'm bored, I'll play a game. And then everyone is reacting with this like mind-boggling expression to me winning a game here. And I was happy that I at least got one nice comment. Clean game through and through from Joel. So that's what's going on in the Take app. If anybody else wants to share their 27 bullet wins or just a single 3+2 game like I did, you can do that by signing up in the waitlist in the QR code in the top of the screen. And let's start looking towards the final 3 rounds, guys, because it could be anyone's games. If you had to make a bet, Christian, who are you betting on?
Well, I would still bet on Magnus. I mean, if he wins the rest, his tiebreak is pretty poor though. So, who else to? Well, Lasavik has shown
amazing form.
Yeah, very good form today. Who else? Well, Wesley. Well, he slipped up a bit now, but
can he bounce back?
Yeah, probably can. Probably can. Nepo also showed a really good game, I thought, against Grishuk, so he might be a contender.
What about you, David?
Yeah, I would say Wesley or Nepo, just the form we've seen today. Out of the pack, the chasing pack on 7. I do think it's going to be hard for Hikaru, Magnus, those lot to catch up. But it all depends on Lazovic. He's the only one with his fate still in his own hands.
And interestingly enough, Wesley, he has never been on the podium in these Title Tuesdays since they changed the format, which is obviously very disappointing for him. As you were mentioning earlier, he used to be one of the finalists in all kinds of Champions Chess Tour tournaments, always being the one who was like the best in the matches against Magnus. So it's been surprising, but maybe today can be the day that he secures a lot of points. And Hikaru Caruana, I can't really remember having such an open possibility for anyone here going into the final 3 rounds.
Yeah, it seems like Wesley has been adapting a bit to the format, but I noticed how slow he was playing in the end there of his last game against.
Yeah, was that an internet connection?
It's hard to tell, but even if it was an internet connection, that's not a good sign.
That is true. Maybe he did find out just today, though, that this split, the Title Tuesday split, helps qualify for the Global Chess Championship because he did win that event a few years ago.
Oh yeah, he's the reigning champion.
Exactly. So maybe that's why he suddenly perked up and started joining these Title Tuesdays. Maybe just in the nick of time, but he will have to win this week, next week, maybe to have any chance of qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about being top 8 in the winter split. So that's very important. And Wesley did secure so many points through the Speed Chess Championship by getting to the quarterfinals. So it is looking better and better for him to qualify for the Esports World Cup. But the Chess.com Global Championship also directly can qualify you there. And those spots are very coveted by many of the top players. But it's going to be difficult to choose what matchup we follow now.
Magnus Carlsen against Ariane Tari.
Oh, yes. Please.
Are we? I didn't suggest it. It's not Team Norway who suggested it.
Oh, it's a battle of frenemies. Frenemies. Who's going to take it? Jon Christian, as the Norwegian team captain, who was the easier player to manage?
Arian.
Okay, so this is going to be a fun one. They played in some big games in their careers.
H4.
Whoa, H4. The Black Knight often likes to go to G6, so the H pawn pushing makes sense. This is the Cosio defense in the Roy Lopez.
Cosio defense.
Cosio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Know your stuff, David.
Well, I've played it many times, only in Blitz though. But yeah, G6 or knight to G6 tends to be Black's next move, so Magnus preempting it. He's the king of the Roy Lopez after all. But yeah, they faced each other so many times. Magnus knocked Ariane out of the World Cup in 2023. Yeah, of course, they played on the same team for years. A lot of mutual respect.
F5, let's go.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
But
Delayed.
Ariane's spending a lot of time in this opening right now. He had not seen that move before, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've played this variation my whole life with the Black Knight coming out, and I've only seen H4 maybe a handful of times.
Okay, so it is a thing, though.
It is a thing, but yeah, Black has multiple ways to play. I'm not such a fan of what Ariane's done here because his development is still going to take a while. Magnus loves this pawn structure as well with the kind of Maroczy bind type position, especially if white can blow the center later. But now it's a grip.
It is a grip. And how to untangle?
Don't play g6.
Okay, so it goes for rook b8, which indicates he wants to play b5 to try and remove the pin.
Yeah, he's going to try and break the pin by pushing his b pawn.
Yeah.
And will Magnus just play it slowly, steadily, or will he try and punch through in the center while black isn't fully developed yet?
Magnus spending some time for the first time in this game. Ooh, actually bringing his queen out to the same file as a rook. That's quite unusual.
Yeah.
Very superficial way of stopping this pawn push from happening. Yeah, I guess if he doesn't allow that, then at least the pin is maintained. And,
So if Arjen takes on f3, do you take back with the g pawn then, just to maintain this pin? Because if you don't, then b5 and knight, then the black knight gets a really nice square in the center on d4. But taking with the g pawn looks a bit ugly, no?
yeah, it looks really ugly. But I guess it's really hard for black to develop. Like, if you move this knight, white even has tricks after that bishop trade of taking a pawn with the queen sometimes and taking later the knight on c6. But the bishop goes all the way back. I don't like that.
No.
Felt like there must be other ways. It's just really frustrating for black that he can never push the g-pawn due to this checkmate idea. But now he's moved his bishop twice.
It's actually very funny. It's so unusual that there's like a threat of checkmate that's preventing you from making a move so early on in the game, and especially such a natural move.
And now Magnus, he has to decide which side to castle his king on.
Okay, d3. Can you play something like b5 now, trying to... No, probably not. Maybe?
It's very tempting, right?
Like b5, if white takes, then knight a5 maybe?
There are some tricks against the white queen as well.
But there's this knight on d5 is really strong. And in some variants, there's like knight takes c7, which is just deadly.
Yeah, I think, like, Arjen, just spending too long, there we go. Like, the clock situation was ticking. Just get rid of that knight. Good practical choice. Now just move out the way and hope the game goes on. He needs to speed up.
Yeah.
Too slow,
If he does
Arjen.
survive the position, he's still going to have quite the challenge because of the time situation, which is what I really like about this Title Tuesday format, that the clocks are so important the entire game, even now, just out of the opening.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, big threat. Careful. The bishop coming to this square would win a pawn. Has Arjen blundered that?
Careful.
What are we missing? Bishop there hits the rook, and then the white queen can swoop.
Probably nothing.
Magnus plays it.
I'm surprised that the evaluation isn't more than just much better, because if I lost that pawn, I would think I was just losing the game immediately.
Yeah, I think Arjen's lucky that he's got this move to hit two pawns simultaneously, but Magnus, he's been playing freestyle chess too long. Moves his king out the way. He hates castling. And yeah, it's not just the b pawn that dropped, it's this one as well, and long-term white's going to have a runner. The white rooks are also going to double up.
Magnus could have taken a long castle, but I guess, yeah, he wants the c-file for his rook, so king d2.
And Magnus has a good experience against Caruana with sending his king into the middle of the board and surviving narrowly.
Yeah, if he can survive that, he thinks he can survive anything.
Yeah, yes. Too big a sense of safety.
Rook c6, rook c1.
Yeah, looks good. Black will try to push a pawn
fancy.
and be in Keto.
What?
Ooh,
Oh,
bishop moves. Apparently a big mistake.
but how?
Exactly. Okay, good move from black. Needs to get castled soon.
Yeah.
The problem is, if now for Magnus Carlsen, like, if the queens don't come off, black's queen is going to get super active. He's trying to force the queens off now.
Yeah, Arjen has to trade, no?
Has to trade, yeah. There we go, gets his king out. Okay, white is a pawn up, but the h pawn is weak.
Yes.
But does it even matter when Arjen only has a minute left?
Rook h6.
So little time.
Wants to hit the knight and the pawn behind it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
The clock is going to be so decisive here. Magnus can hold everything here. Maybe move his bishop forward, maybe defend the knight with a rook in the near future. If he can just defend and keep his extra pawn, keep his extra time, he's just going to cruise to victory.
What about like rook g1?
Also very tempting.
But Magnus is listening to the pleas of the audience in the studio. Spend some time, make it more interesting.
Exactly.
Even out those clocks.
We want to see a bullet battle between these two.
Such a massive time advantage for Magnus. He has thought for such a long time and still is a minute up.
Yeah, that's the one thing you can't do against the likes of Magnus and Hikaru in this new format. You just can't go behind on the clock against them. They use the clock so strongly as a weapon. Aaron's playing really, really well, it's got to be said.
Yeah.
Like, he looked dead lost, but now he's better, or he would have been better maybe if he'd found another move. But here we go. The race is on with the pawns.
It is, and this is far from over.
Yeah, 50 seconds is enough if he can find a way forward now, but he's a bit stuck. He's a bit stuck on the H-file.
He needs to defend that pawn. Oh, maybe he doesn't need to defend that pawn.
Knight f1.
Yeah, the big question is what happens if rook takes pawn. I guess there's a knight exchange, and the black rook comes and grabs.
And then he has a passed pawn.
He has a passed pawn.
There's also knight c4. Oh, there's this move as well.
Black knight has some checks. Magnus defends his pawn. Very importantly.
Professional decision.
Very professional. Keeps control. But the black pawns are running. Oh, black's rook is a bit stuck though, and white's...
How do you continue this pawn march?
Maybe you don't. Maybe that's as far as the black pawns go. White's plan is simple. Magnus is pushing himself.
Okay, so it's just blocking, yeah?
And, black's much better. The other pawn first wasn't possible since the pawn is stuck guarding the rook.
Okay, so now Magnus gets the blockade.
Oh, no.
Oh, that is the clincher. A rook hit and the pawn dropping. Ariane resigns. That was the clock. He got his chances, but he just couldn't keep up on time.
Yeah, typical of this format that you have to play. You have to play fast because you're low on time, and then you blunder because of the time. So time becomes the decisive factor.
And let's get the final moments here from Wesley So against Alexander Bortnik, who's also come sailing up the standings with 7 points, but he's low on time.
It's going to be decided on the clock. The board as well looking dire now for the black king.
Okay, take on g7.
It's going to be so tempting. There we go.
Has to be.
We find out.
Give a check with the rook on f1, and then it has to be mate.
Yeah, that does look like checkmate. King moves out into the center. Can he do a Magnus Carlsen Bortnik? Can he survive the onslaught? The answer is not this time. Too straightforward. You can take the pawn and win the queen. You can take this way and game over. Wesley So wins the game, moves into the joint lead.
Mate the next move with queen e5.
Wow. Good job by Wesley there. Did not have any problems with his clock in this game. And here we see Faustino sadly losing this game here with the black pieces. And that gives us the following standings. We've got Lazovic, Arjun, Wesley, and Martirosyan, all of them tied 8 points, all of them in the lead.
Wow, suddenly look at the chasing pack though. That's 4 like super strong world-class players. Nepo, Hikaru, Fabiano, Magnus. I mean, any slip up now, any draws on the top 2 boards, the gate is open.
Wow.
Race is on. I don't even know anymore. I still think Wesley may be a small favorite from the leading pack. Arjun as well, but anything could happen.
Arjun also hasn't won Title Tuesday yet, and that would be a dream of his, and secure 10 points for the standings, which is becoming more and more important as we near the end of the split, who's going to be qualified to play the Chess.com Global Championship. But also good to see that many of the favorites, they weren't discouraged even when they've lost against some underdogs early in the tournament.
Yeah, it's nice to see some resilience from the players, just trying to toughen up and fight, even though you have a bad start. So it's nice to see both Magnus and Hikaru, who had poor starts, fighting the way up to the top boards.
And Hikaru, he is playing against Jan Nepomniachtchi, both of them with 7.5 in the chasing group. Hikaru streaming as always. Let's hear if he has anything to say in the beginning of this game.
Not yet.
He's mostly nodding.
Nodding is a form of expression too. So he looks happy with his position. It was the English opening, but it's pretty much become a reverse Sicilian. And you have some knight exchanges, not changing too much. This is definitely Hikaru hiding his prep. I don't think he'll be playing this type of stuff at the candidates. Okay, both players in must-win situations if they want to win the tournament, though. A draw, not enough with 2 rounds to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun one.
Looks like Hikaru is listening to some really good music. Either that or he's just really happy with the position. I feel like sometimes he's just trying to like hype up his own, hype up himself in order to try and create some confidence. G4?
Yeah, I saw him say, I was trying to lip read. I saw him say the words G4. Is it going to happen?
Yeah, why not? G4, H4. Try and create some proper attack.
Throw those pawns down the board. The black bishop will be caught in the firing line.
Well, you don't really need to do it, but if you don't, then I mean, if you give black some time, then rook e8, queen g5. Okay, nice. He goes for it. Interesting.
on.
Yeah.
Game on. The computer doesn't approve, but this is the start of the fireworks. White is fully committed. This really reminds me of Magnus's, one of his early games in this tournament where he was pushing the G and H pawns, boom, boom, push the D pawn, all the space. And yeah, I really hate this black knight on the edge of the board.
Yeah, that was a big threat with queen c3 last with white. So
He wants his queen there anyway.
yes. Okay, you can't really take the knight off. Don't really want to, so the knight's gonna jump to b7 and d6. But okay, so you have to plug this with h5. Makes sense. So it's not really an attack, but rather just a position.
I was going to ask which way Hikaru's king is going. He's definitely not going kingside to the right flank anymore. He's going to go after this pawn instead. That's very slow, though, the plan.
Yeah, and he's been a bit behind on the clock as well. Nepo moving quite quickly in the beginning phase. But what is Hikaru reacting to now?
I think I heard him say the word, well, again, lip reading. I think he said f5.
When did you become such an expert
Yeah.
in reading, David?
You've been watching a lot of Hikaru's streams.
I watch a lot of chess, especially Hikaru. But okay, the knight comes out.
With sound off or?
No comment. No, I mean, it's just, I find it fascinating how quickly he's able to think. And the consistency he brings, especially when he plays blitz. Okay, maximum pressure now in the middle of the board. If everything kind of gets traded off, I think white's long-term chances are quite good. Minority attack on this side of the board, and maybe a weakness long-term here. So there we go. Nepo has to blow it open. That's why he used that rook.
Yeah, the h5 pawn is a potential... Yeah, that's going to drop probably. Maybe not. I mean, white has some issues as well, because black has activated the rooks quite nicely, so maybe there will be some issues in the f file or along those lines.
Wow, he takes back with the pawn. I was expecting the
Interesting.
queen, but okay, I guess in compensation for the ugly pawn structure.
Yeah, so if you take this, well, what? Can't he take and play queen f7? No.
Stuff is happening.
It's happening quickly.
happening.
They're both playing so fast.
Now take on c4?
Ooh, but
No,
Jeez,
g6.
this is coming.
No, but the queen f3?
Yeah, black can get the queens off, but I'm not sure he wants to.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe. Knight takes pawn is the big question. The white queen cannot recapture due to this one hanging. If not, then Nepo's just a pawn down. I think he has to go for it, right? Before white just defends everything.
Probably, yeah. Like knight f5, is that something? Go after the h4 pawn?
Oh, wait, is this a threat? Knight with a check? Opening up the G file?
Looks like Hikaru's calculating.
Yes, maybe you're right.
Maybe some calculations needed. Very unclear.
Queen g6 then, maybe?
Queen. Oh, he walks out the way.
King h8, that's such
He's admitting that there was something. Nepo actually was worried about something here.
That's such a hard move to play, though. Like, he's a pawn down, at the very least. Hikaru's looking very interested in this position.
Yeah. He's usually talking so much, and then sometimes when he'll just like be completely silent for a bit, it means he's on to something.
Exactly. And the question is whether black can even keep the queens on, or whether you have to jump in and swap before the white queen ever gets the chance to leap in with a checkmate.
Something smells fishy here, he says.
Exactly. I promise it's not me here in the studio. Yeah, something is off with black's position.
Oh, it's Nepo who is smelling a bit fishy here.
Yep.
Is that your lip read of what Hikaru is saying?
Yes. Take on c4.
Yeah, and the central pawn would hang once the black queen and knight disappear.
Yeah.
So Nepo's trying to triple up on the open line.
So if the Hikaru takes the queen, what do you take back with?
I think with a pawn there, just because there was a double attack only on that one occasion.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But, ooh. Okay, now queen's come off. But the white knight is hitting the rook. This looks super attractive for white now with the d pawn marching. And some knight checks coming in maybe.
Yeah, this looks very ugly for Nepo.
I think he's just going to push. There we go. Pass pawns are there to be pushed.
Von Castle?
Reverse. Last year I qualified right away, and Ali Reza had to suffer a little bit before qualifying, and it's kind of this exact same thing today.
It looks like Hikaru's not even talking about the game anymore. He's talking about qualifications. He's talking about completely other things because he knows he has this game in the bag.
Yeah, it's funny on Chris. You said castle, like the white king could still have moved on over.
Yeah.
It's not freestyle anymore. He can't do that now. But that would have been a really cool move. Maybe even a better one because the white king isn't well placed in the center.
No.
The white rook moves up. Trick. Rook takes pawn. The white knight would retreat. And it would be a double attack on that rook. And suddenly a discovered attack against the knight.
Nice.
That's the threat now. If the black knight moves away, then I think he just wants to come in.
There's also knight g5, yeah?
The knight wants
Still
to
it is.
stay defending this pawn.
Because you can take on d6 and then knight f7. Nah, maybe it's not enough.
Maybe not yet.
No, just blundering everything.
Not yet.
c5 is hanging, but d6 is hanging. This is getting tricky.
Although the eval bar says totally winning for white, like I was about to say, this could easily change. Nepo's won Hikaru's best pawn, and now he's locked out the white rook from the game.
Yeah, this is far from over now.
Shaking his head.
Very unclear.
Okay, maybe b4 even.
Yeah, b4 gets rid of the pawn. There we go. He does it.
Who has a higher ceiling, Demlaz or Merzan?
Okay. Hikaru is still talking about other things.
Oh, it's checkmate apparently in 13 moves because of this knight check. And then there'll be a mate. He just needs to avoid the checks of his own.
So check on e2. And I don't know. Knight c8, I suppose.
Nice, the only way to postpone the inevitable, but white can start gobbling up pawns there.
Yeah, right.
There we go. Checkmate threat still had to be defended against. The knight is coming. He keeps threatening these knight checks.
Yes.
At the very least, he can give a check with his rook and pick up a pawn, but he drives the king into the corner first. Oh, that is it. That's game over. Hikaru's about to win this one. Mate in 4-4.
I don't know who this. I've never heard this name before, by the way.
I had to hear what Hikaru was saying in his final moments here, but he wasn't talking about the game. Going into the final round, he's probably among the contenders to win the title Tuesday, Gameweek 12, but so are these two if one of them can win.
Big game here, and it looks like Magnus is in deep trouble. White's two pawns are connected. Are they quick enough to run up the board? Sam Sevian putting the finishing touches on. Magnus with no time.
Yeah, Magnus is losing this.
Yeah, it's just one move too slow. One move, and the white king now can soon defend its pawn. There we go. The g pawn's going to march up the board. Sam Sevian knows it. You can see it on the camera. He's going to win the black rook, and the white g pawn's going to decide. Magnus is out of the race. Sam Sevian, great win.
Sam Sevian moving to 8 points. And we see Lazovic and Wesley So at the very top with 9. Hikaru, the only player for 8.5, now joined by Caruana. It's really anyone's tournament up there. Whoever's going to want to win this tournament needs to win the final round. Don't want to be dependent on tie breaks.
Yeah, and Hikaru and Fabiano, I believe, are going to get upfloated to the two leaders. Lazovic's already played Wesley. And
Yeah, we're playing Guess the Pairing. You're pretty good at that usually.
oh no.
No pressure.
I can't remember who's played who. Has Fabiano played the other guys? I think Hikaru plays Wesley. Lazovic plays Fabiano.
Okay, you heard
I'm
it here
gonna say
first.
Hikaru Lasovic then.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll soon find out. It feels like the pack on 8 now are out of it, surely.
It's one of these top 4 guys.
Yeah, one of the top 4.
Has anyone ever won with 9 points? That shouldn't be possible.
Quite rare.
Yeah.
Since the rebrand, the new format, I think it's always 9.5.
Yeah.
And here we go. Oh, good call.
Yeah,
Jon
Christian. You got
Nice.
Lazovic against Hikaru. You understand this pairing system, which we always struggle to interpret in the final rounds. And it is Lazovic against Hikaru Nakamura playing for first place. If they win, we don't think they can count on a draw. At least it's scary considering the fact that Wesley So, he's at 9 points and he'll be going for a win in his game against Fabiano Caruana.
Ooh, this is big. Okay, that last moment, it was the Berlin defense. I was scared that Denis Lazovic was going to go for the Berlin draw, the famous 14-move queen dance, but no.
And put it all up to the tie breaks?
Exactly. He wants to win it. He knows that Wesley So could then have won on his own outright. So we see the anti-Berlin quick bishop for knight exchange, and this looks more like a Spanish exchange now.
Yeah, it
White
does.
with the center.
Lazovic does have the best tie breaks by quite a bit, actually. So maybe a draw wouldn't be the worst result for him if he counts on Fabi to help him. But it's always a chance that we don't know if he's willing to take.
Well, it shows he doesn't trust Fabiano.
Well, it wouldn't be unreasonable to trust Fabi either, but it's better to just try and get the job done for yourself.
Yep. And very tense position. I've played these many times, mostly from the black side. And I quite like the potential of the bishop pair. One plan for black is to throw this pawn down the board, and a bishop on this diagonal. It's actually quite nicely placed. But very, very tense, of course.
Lazovic is good at finding these positions where he can play very strategic games.
Yeah, and of course, there's revenge on Hikaru's mind as well. Lazovic beating him just last week in the Speed Chess Championship. A bit of drama to end that match.
Yeah.
Hikaru, unfamiliar with the rules, despite having played 10 of those tournaments before.
Yeah, that was crazy. In those final moments.
Was he asked about that afterwards? Because I thought it was like he was just
You didn't buy it?
saying that to himself to like, it didn't matter, it really mattered.
It's also weird because in the match against Alireza, kind of a similar thing happened. It's how Alireza was able to get to the tie breaks was by winning that final game after the time had run out. So yeah, I think Hikaru's mind was probably all over the place after that many hours of chess, especially a half hour of bullet chess. It's not really possible to be reasonable in that moment.
Yeah, high stress, live audience as well. Hundreds in the arena there. Ultimately blundering it in the last moves of the final game.
And losing a direct ticket to the Esports World Cup. I mean, he has a lot of points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard, but being guaranteed a spot is very important for these players. It's the most prestigious or the most prize-giving tournament in all of chess.
Exactly. Lucrative. A lot of money on the line. Hikaru will make it probably, but it would have been nice just before the candidates to kind of tick it off his list.
Yeah.
To say, that's done. Now I fully focus. But that's why he keeps going. The white knight has a nice square, but as soon as it jumps in, the black bishop will take this piece.
Yeah, not too much happening just yet. They have been shuffling pieces around, putting pieces on good squares, but still a maneuvering game.
Yeah, just quick update on the other board. It looks like it's Fabiano who's winning suddenly against Wesley So.
Oh.
That's going to blow it wide open. That means a draw for Lazovic, likely enough. But he doesn't know that yet. He will not know that. And this last pawn push, very committal. I smell some danger. Lots of holes in the white camp.
Yeah.
If the knight can ever come back around later.
Probably not possible right now because knight e5 or bishop e5 or something.
Yep. Not yet. Hikaru sets it up though. He defends this pawn with his queen. aiming then to bring his knight round.
Maybe he even sets up g5 at some point.
Look at Hikaru's expressions. He's not entirely comfortable, it seems.
Yeah, this is the
Tense position.
best position he's had all game so far.
Yeah.
I really don't like these pawn pushes. Magnus actually said recently in an interview that if you give Hikaru a blocked position with slow maneuvers, he's going to outplay all the young ones. So we'll see if that comes true. Dennis is maybe the exception.
Dennis is maybe the one who didn't hear that interview.
Exactly. He loves these positions himself.
Yeah.
But okay.
But now, 96, what's the plan for Dennis?
He can now move his own knight towards the center now that the white rook defends this piece.
Right,
But
right.
even then, I mean, this looks very attractive for black to retreat the knight. The black bishop might later come in.
It looks really ugly, but maybe you can go g6 with black.
Fabiano Caruana is up in exchange against Wesley So. Could mean a lot for the standings. Fabi currently at 8.5. Wesley currently at 9. It's going to be one of those two or one of these two who's going to win this game week 12.
It's a 4-horse race. Wesley's chances look the least out of everyone so far. Fabiano's tiebreaks aren't incredible, so we will see. This is maximum pressure. Really, really tense position. I don't particularly like these white knights, even if they're fine for now. They're just kind of getting in each other's way. But a mistake from Hikaru there, and
He knows it. Look at him.
he knows he can repeat the position. Bishop to g6 is a repetition. He wants more.
Oh.
Yeah, he should go for more, but I'm not sure if he's gonna.
It's going to be a draw. Yeah, Queen E5 was safer, but it's still a draw.
Oh, he thinks it's just a draw. Is he going to allow repetition between the bishop and the knight?
Yeah, it's just a draw.
Why is he not playing on? That's the only way he can win this tournament. He's playing it too safe.
Queen E5? Okay, he goes for this one.
Well, he's considering it to be a draw.
Lazovic paused though, but
Do you think they would go
gonna
check
do?
the other game? Is that something they can do while they're playing?
I think they can. It
They
takes
have
a
enough
while.
time to do it.
Yeah, they'll see a result if it pops up. That's automatic on their browser. But okay, he plays a slightly different move, but okay, who will play on?
The next candidates. He's always capable of it, but I think Nepo's problem is that he's played just too many.
I love it when Hikaru is just talking about something completely different than the game. I'm always wondering, like, where is his mind at? And you never really know what to expect. But it's kind of still going back and forth, I feel like. Maybe they're kind of trying to prolong to see if there's a result in the Fabi game, because Fabi, he's way ahead of Wesley in that game. Maybe they're waiting for that game to finish before repeating.
yeah, Hikaru can go bishop g6 now. That would be a draw, right? Okay,
plays on.
He's continuing the fight. Interesting.
Plucked up the courage.
Yeah.
Hikaru lately has made quite a lot of repetitions, quite a lot of those types of draws. So nice to see him play a bit more ambitiously. Now white gets a pawn on g4, which cements the knight, though. This is going to be a very, very tight run game. I think the clock is going to be the biggest factor now.
Yeah.
It's that blocked. No way through for either side yet.
Well, I have to say I like white's position now. With the g4 included, feels like you get a lot more breathing room to put like the bishop on h4 or h4, h5, put double the rooks on the d file. Yeah. But, well, far from over still.
Yeah, still roughly in the balance, even if computers slightly prefer white. If black can never open up the f file, maybe get a pawn to g6, kick away this knight, then there will be trouble for white. King moves out the way. Oh, this is going to be a scramble. I think it's going to be decided in the last few seconds.
Oh, this is going to be a scramble for sure. I mean, they have so many pieces left still. They traded off knight for bishop and a pawn. That's it. All the other pieces are on the board still. So, and they are, well, just 40 seconds each.
Yeah, it's just about speed now. Denis Lazovic is the one creating the threats, though. He's the one who's hitting the central pawn, repeating again. Repeating again.
Draw.
Surely not. Hikaru bails out. It is a draw by repetition.
Okay, we need to go look at the Wesley So Fabi game. It's still going on.
But not for long. That's going to be a checkmate.
Oh, it's a mate in 3.
The Black Rooks will chase and trap the White King. There we go. Fabiano moves up to join Denis Lazovic.
But his tie breaks must be worse. Oh, wait. They're actually pretty similar.
Oh, wow.
We're not going to be able to know who's the winner until all the games are finished in this tournament. Right now, Caruana's at the top.
This all depends on their past opponents. The tiebreak is the sum of their former opponents' scores.
Ooh.
So they'll be cheering for the players they've previously played.
But don't you think Lazovic's pretty upset with himself for taking the draw against Hikaru there?
Yeah, it was a calculated risk. I think he could have... Yeah, he had the advantage on the board. He could have definitely milked the clock a bit more. Wow, this is going to be a race. Are they going to swap places one last time?
Ooh.
So who did they play? Or who?
I mean, the first players they play are usually people we don't necessarily know. So it's who of the top guys have they played? It's probably the most important. I see that Dennis, he's played against Pranav. He's played against Eric Geisy. He's played against So.
He's played against Nepo, who's still going.
Pranav Nepo is still going, yeah.
Played against Martirosyan.
Lazovic's guaranteed at least one more point on the tiebreak. He played both Pranav and Nepo.
Okay.
Oh.
That's very important because the current count is that Fabi has 65 and looks like Dennis has 66, but we have them in this order on our screen.
Oh, wow.
This is exciting.
How many tiebreak are there in this tournament? Like, is there only one or several?
I think that's the main tiebreak. It's that's the only one I know of, at least. It's not the head-to-head.
Like, if they're both 666, then what happens?
We'll find out.
Then we'll need to start doing it. Oh, Fabi's still at the top.
Pranav won on time against Nepo. That was the last remaining game.
Okay.
Let's see if I update. If we just take a little detour to the country standings and then go back. Nope. We've still got Fabiano at the top. But on Chess.com, I can see that Dennis is at the top. We don't know who's the winner.
Oh, the tension mounts. The tension's growing.
67.75 points for Dennis here, and 66 for Fabiano is what I have on my computer.
And they didn't face each other, so there's no head-to-head to go off. What's happening?
How do we call the winner?
We're all in the dark. We'll have to wait for the last games to finish. There's still some lower down the standings that are still ongoing.
Okay, somebody's telling me on my ear that it's Fabiano who has won the tournament. Does that mean we're accusing Chess.com of having something wrong?
Well, Fabi's waiting as well. Look at him. He's refreshing the page just like we are.
Oh, yeah, let's get the camera on Fabi. Let's base it on his reaction. That's all we have to go off of right now.
Oh, is he... yeah. Is he looking at the screen? Is he asking the arbiters? Oh, there's one last game going in the whole tournament?
This is very confusing, and Fabi is confused just like us.
Wow, Fabi, that would be so harsh on him if he comes second again
No.
after freestyle.
Oh, what's that reaction? Is that a, I'll hang around to do some interviews and be happy with my result?
Unclear.
Unclear. On chess.com, it does say Denis Lazovic's out on top.
But different people are saying different things. The last game is wrapping up. It could still be changed. The opponents they played in the very first round still have ongoing games.
Wow.
But
Fabi can't stand the tension. He leaves his chair. He'll be back.
Will he?
Or will he not?
Will he?
Wow, last game is still wrapping up. Fabiano, he's trying to check what's going on. Oh, wow. I mean, to come runner-up so many times, Fabiano, of course, this is just one Title Tuesday. He'll win many more in the future. But it would feel harsh of the chess gods to rob him of this victory.
Look, he's checking his phone. He's trying to figure out what's happened. There seems to be some kind of technical issue that they have to solve so we can figure out who has won Game Week 12. We still don't know. Fabi still doesn't know.
The eternal silver medalist.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Is it going to be a turnaround this time?
Oh. Okay, we have it from some sources that it is Fabiano who has won. Can we read that from his expression?
Well, that's just... third of a quarter of an expression, I think.
It might be a quarter of a point on the tie breaks that separates
Yeah,
it.
it does look like it could be.
Well,
Jon Christian, I'm reading this right.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. I'm not blind. I'm being told that Fabiano Caruana is the winner, but I'm seeing something different in front of me.
okay.
Okay, we have confirmed it is Fabiano Caruana who is been crowned the winner by Chess.com. So that's the one we'll go for as well then. Congratulations to him. We have him at the top of our standings, and a well-deserved, very barely a victory for him.
Wow, the tie breaks went in his favor.
Yeah.
Chess gods, they do exist. They were smiling on him today, and well deserved. I mean, that last game, we were following another one, but he crushed it. He just destroyed Wesley in the final game with black. Not easy to do. And nice to see the recovery so quick from freestyle.
Has to be a nice consolation to get this win after his devastating second place this weekend in the freestyle chess. So congrats, Fabi.
Very nice comeback for him. We do see that Arjen is the best Norwegian. Magnus actually lost his final game as well, so really not the best tournament for him. And it's good that his competitors can then seize the opportunity to win a Title Tuesday. And I believe this is the first Title Tuesday victory for Caruana since they changed the format, since they removed the increment. And he's never really been viewed as like the strongest player in Blitz, so good to see him on top.
Yeah, fantastic. And he's not yet confirmed for the Esports World Cup. And despite, I think, still being attached to an esports team, he's not confirmed for the Global Chess Championship either. So for him, it's going to open up some doors. He was one of the few who did also sign that letter from NBL. So
he's playing on the Grand Chess Tour.
Yeah, he might have a dilemma if he qualifies for Esports World Cup.
And we can now look at the split 2 standings. We see that Sam Sevian, who defeated Magnus in the second to last round, he gained a single point. Lazovic gaining 7 points. And Fabi climbing into 10th place means that he's still in contention to get among the top 8, which is the most important to qualify for the Chess.com Global Championship, which we see here in the second to last column. That a lot of points are going to appear there after that tournament is held. Definitely important tournaments. And then we see, of course, not any real changes here to these players, except for Wesley So, who now secured another 4 points to get him currently to a 5th place here and currently qualified for the Esports World Cup.
Yeah, great week for Caruana, who's now in 3rd. That looks like he's going to be on course if he can keep his consistency up. MVL down there in 8th. We'll see if he rejoins the action next time. But yeah, what a week. So close. It seems to always be the case that 9.5 is the winning score. And especially when so many of the top dogs, the giants, turned up. Not an easy victory and more reason to celebrate for Fabiano.
All right. Well, that was a very intense final round here in Game Week 12. It was the second to last week. Thank you, David, for being here. Thank you, Jon Christian, for supporting us in these final moments, trying to figure out who in the world won. And we will be back next Tuesday. See you then.
Oh, that's a blunder. That's just a blunder. Discover check, picks up the queen.
And his opponent resigns. He's making
Just
quick moves.
no time. You have to trade the rooks off. You got to gamble. Oh, he had to give the check first. Jan was supposed to check on h7 first. I think he just played the wrong move order. He just got confused.
And now he's down a rook. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a nice move though by Zhang. That's pinning the rook, harassing so many different points. 3 different things are under pressure right now. Even 4 if we count the pawn.
He just
wow.
gave up.
He just couldn't find a move.
Here we go.